The sideboard for Thomas here is 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 1 Hercule's Recall, 1 Cursed Totem, 1 Manriki Gusari. Very interesting name there. 1 Echoing Truth, 1 Mindbreak Trap, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Dismember, 1 Blue Elemental Blast, 1 Divert, 1 Jite, and 2 Submerge. Love that 1 Jite in the sideboard. Both seem pretty good stock lists, both giving each other a shuffle. There's a nice meaty handshake from Adam Alex. And let me see, so he's got Dig Through Time, 2 lands, Ponder, I think that was Show and Tell, and then he shuffled the last card to the back. Oh, he's showing us like a good man. Dig Through Time, Ponder, yeah. So this is looking like a good match. And Will is back with us. Will, we're playing with Adam Alex again, because he loves attention.
So we're on mono blue versus...
Yeah, this is amazingly, it's blue versus blue. It's all blue.
No way.
A blue on blue attack, yeah, because Thomas is using Merfolk.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So the last time I saw Thomas playing, he was on a Chalice of the Void, and it looks like he's on the Chalice of the Void again.
Yeah, I was saying
You've
that
gone
earlier.
You've gone through the list already. Sweet.
I've gone through his list.
Sweet.
So anyway, we're turn 1 pondering with Adam Alex here, and we see a Force of Will, a Gitaxian Probe, and a Flooded Strand from that ponder. What's he going to be looking to keep here? He's Adam Alex, of course, having a Dig Through Time and stuff as well. One thing I did notice about this Merfolk list: no Aether Vial.
Yeah, I think that's the sacrifice you make for the chalices, the inclusion of chalices. I think it's... I'm not sure if it's better.
Here we go. Kafner Souls, obviously naming Merfolk.
Yep.
That's quite... that's obviously quite good, especially against Mono Blue. It just shuts off all counter spells. Counter spells for the creatures you're going to be putting out.
And interestingly enough, it will let you cast your Merfolk through the Chalice of the Void, because it can't be countered if it's cast with the Cavern.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's actually really, really good piece of tech there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam, very good shuffler is Adam. Look at this, the way he's able to do that card manipulation. I do that and cards go everywhere.
Adam Alex actually has a few card tricks. He's shown me a few. He's pretty good.
Does he have a few card tricks?
Yeah.
Oh, fair play to him. So we've got another ponder coming out here from Adam Alex. So this is the second ponder of the game. Dig Through Time, land.
So that was what's known as a Sol land. It gives 2 mana. I think that particular one, though, once a new land comes into play, it will die.
He's
going to shuffle.
Yeah, he's going to go for the shuffle here. You, if you see 2 lands, go for the shuffle. Try and get something a bit juicier out. How do you think this match will fare with the Merfolk versus the Show and Tell list? We saw the Show and Tell list earlier. It's very powerful.
Yeah, it is. Merfolk has a lot of counter magic, and it has a lot of pressure. So it's definitely an even enough match.
Yeah.
Especially Tomas's variant of Merfolk.
Yeah. That's certainly true. So we're paying 2 life here for a Gitaxian Probe, and what we're seeing, Mutavaults.
It's the Pearl Trident Lord.
Yeah, the Master,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, Master Pearl Trident. Okay.
And another Cavern.
And we had the Phantasmal Image as well, so that's able to copy one of the lords.
Yeah.
So there's a huge amount of damage here with Force backup and the Chalice.
And a Mutavault.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Adam, do you think he's worried?
Yes, I think he's worried.
Okay. So he gets the Omniscience into hand. So
I'd imagine we're going to see either a Lord or a Chalice, depending on how Thomas feels. He's got Force of Will, so maybe it's time to put a Lord down, start getting damage in.
Yeah, like, again, Show and Tell, you know, sometimes you want to play a bit quicker. So yeah, there we go. He has put down a bit more cautiously, he has put down the Chalice of the Void.
Okay.
So yeah, Chalice of the Void for 1 and pass the turn. Untap,
Now-
draw.
Adam had left 1 mana up and had already played like 2 Ponders and a Jutaxian Probe. So the Chalice might have been slightly wasted there. Might have been time to put down a threat,
Yeah.
and maybe next turn play the Chalice, because there's a fairly good chance that there's no more 1 mana cantrips in Adam Alex's hand.
Yeah, he's already played a lot of his these little cantrips. So how much more is he really going to be playing? That's actually a very good point. With
Like
this Chalice of the
he
Void
will
for
be
1.
playing more through the course of the game. It's
Yeah.
just at the moment there's probably none in his hand.
Yeah, that's very, very true actually. So what you would have definitely put down the Lord instead.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I tend to agree with you there. Like, I know Thomas is maybe thinking about other issues that we haven't seen as well, though. So we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. So it is his turn now. Untap and draw. He's
Another
played
cavern.
another cavern, naming. I wonder, naming Merfolk, of course.
That's not guaranteed because he has Phantasmal Image in his deck. So
Yes, indeed he does. So
it's an end of turn dig through time.
return dig. Sorry, the creature Thomas put down there was
Lord of Atlantis.
a lord.
So Thomas opting not to battle over this dig through time.
Yeah, so we see a show and tell, land, Jutaxian Probe.
So
And-
I think there's already that isn't a show and tell. So he has to take show and tell anyway. So maybe a force and a show and tell. But yeah, that's what we're going to
Yeah.
see.
And he's got the Omniscience in hand as well, so... But he will be playing through Force of Will. But he's got his own forces.
Yep.
There's the City of Traders.
Yeah, I think it's time for the City of Traders.
Yeah. Down
And
it
we're just
comes.
going to go for it. Here we go. Show and tell.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a force from Tomas.
Yeah.
Then we're going to see return force from Adam Alex.
I love these little counter wars.
Yeah, I love this kind of stuff I love as well.
Especially when you've got the bird's eye view.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I don't know whether you should do this, and you kind of can see who's going to win it. Unless of course they do
Now,
like funky draw tactics and stuff.
Here's a very strange play for Tomas, something for him to consider, is to allow the no, he can't do that. He can't have Omniscience in. I was going to say because he has counter magic, so he could counter the next thing, but then
Yeah.
it means that all of the Force of Wills are just live for Adam Alex. He doesn't have to pitch anything to them, which
Yeah.
is just
That's really quite good, quite an advantage.
yeah.
I'd
So
say.
he needs to fight over this, even though he's not going to win the battle.
He needs to
He
do
still
it
needs,
anyway.
yeah.
Right, so Force of Will the first. And
So what's he pitching?
Yeah, this is his problem.
Pitching
so
the
pitching
days.
days. So Force of Will pitching Omniscience.
So he maybe has a second copy of it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would make sense to me.
He does.
Okay, he
he
does.
does. And there's Omniscience, and,
And
there's
another
a
Lord.
Not actually too bad, but
So
Lord.
impulse. This is going to let him look at the top 4 cards, put one into his hand, and the rest on the bottom.
What you put in from
So it looked like there was a cunning wish there.
that? Yeah.
So maybe that's what's going to be played. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he took the
Cunning
cunning wish.
Wish.
Now he gets to go into his sideboard, and he gets to look for anything he wants because they're all fetchable, they're all instants. So it's probably going to be maybe intuition. Is it time for an intuition? It is time for an intuition. So the intuition then will let him search for 4 cards.
And there's Enter the Infinite, play his deck, Emrakul. 2 Emrakuls.
Or is it, maybe it's 3 cards only. It might be 3
Yeah.
cards. And he gets to keep one of them, I believe.
So yeah.
So he's going to have a little think. While he's having a little think, I'm going to quickly look at the exact wording for intuition.
He said, he's definitely having a good look through there. Kind of undecided. I think he was decided.
Yeah,
And
it looked
now
like
all of a sudden he's kind of gone back, had to think about it. Doesn't want to
Okay.
mess around too much.
Sorry, I'm just going to quickly read through this. Search your library for any 3 cards and reveal them. an opponent then chooses one, you put that card in your hand, and then you shuffle. The rest go in your graveyard, and then you shuffle your library. So,
do the 3 cards have to be different?
they don't. They're any 3 cards. Any
it's
3
not
cards
like
you
gifts.
want.
Yeah, okay. So Thomas having a look at Enter the Infinite there.
It's kind of super gifts.
And then Emrakul.
Yeah, because the Emrakuls will get shuffled
so
into the graveyard anyway.
Yeah, so he's letting the Enter the Infinite into Adam's hand. And this is a big problem now. So Omniscience, Enter the Infinite, 2 of the most powerful spells in the game.
Yeah.
So there's Emrakul, of course. How do you win if you're Thomas at this stage? Looking through his sideboard, and here's the ants, the dreaded ants, and that's game 1.
Yep.
Pretty solid play here from Adam Alex so far. He's been very impressive when he's on stream. So we can't be complaining too much about this being his second game of 4 on the stream. Well, I suppose Mark Casey got 2 games, so that's fair. But
he was the backup feature, though.
Yeah, he was the backup feature. That's true. So Adam Alex very happy with this. Very very happy with the way his deck's been playing.
So just if people are kind of tuning in, we are in round 3, I believe.
It's round 4.
It's round 4.
Yeah,
round 4 of the kind of monthly legacy here in Gamers World Dublin in Ireland. And we have a mono blue show and tell. Enter the ants. Enter the ants. Do you like that?
What Eamon told me earlier, I'm to call it Adam and the Ants.
Adam and the Ants.
Adam and the Ants, because it is Adam.
And then Tomas is playing a kind of a Merfolk hate deck. The Ether Vials that normally accompany the Merfolk are replaced by Chalice of the Void, which is pretty interesting.
The Chalice, you're definitely right about that Chalice play. It came down. It came down a turn
didn't
too
do
late.
anything.
Yeah, it didn't do anything. It came down a turn too late.
We have 22 players here today, which is a pretty reasonable turnout.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see that at least 22 people in Dublin have legacy decks as well.
Yeah.
So
and there's a few new faces, which is great as well.
Yeah.
We're going to be cutting to a top 4. I'm not sure after what round. I don't know. Do you know that?
It could be round 4 or 5. It could be this round.
Yeah,
or
it might
be
be
round 5.
And then prizes are for top 4 with I think it's €65 for the first place, €45 for the second place, and then third and fourth both get €33 each. So it's pretty reasonable, yeah.
Pretty reasonable. Who's your pick? The top
the
4.
Top
who
4.
Who do you think?
Well, I mean, we know some of the people's stats, so we can.
Okay, so we know Adam Alex's stats.
3-0, is he?
He's 3-0, yeah. So we presume Thomas is 3-0 as well.
Yes. So they're both good picks for the top 4. I think.
Who's impressed you
today on stream?
On stream that we've seen. Do you think Gabriel?
Susan played pretty well. I think
Susan, yeah,
she was very tidy. There was no errors really.
Do you think Gabriel?
Adam Alex has played well. Yeah, Gabriel. I would like to see more.
Yeah.
In fact, to make the call on that, Gabriel's just a good player in general, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's in contention. Dan Gilligan, I know, is on the Miracles deck. We haven't seen him on stream, but
how's Dan be doing?
He was EXO, I think, last round, so he's doing well.
That's pretty good. Dan's one of the regular casters here. He is taking a break to get back into the zone. He's a bit like Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
He needs to train. He's going to Utrecht, of course, at the end of the month.
Yeah. Well, he's going to Siberia first.
He's going to what?
To harden up.
Oh, of course.
before Utrecht.
Oh, yeah. Lifting tractors, just doing a general bit of Siberian farming.
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of thing,
yeah. Pulling tires.
And he's
punching frozen meat that's hanging in the butcher place.
And he's actually brought over an 80s rock band in which to train with and to create a little montage,
Yeah.
Very, very cheesy is Dan. But yeah, that's why Dan hasn't been casting recently, is because of his strict training regimen.
Yeah. Of course, only eating asparagus for this month as
Adam
well.
Alex's hand. We're seeing Studio Traders, Pluto Delta, Enter the Infinite, and then I didn't.
It was a good hand. Has all the bits really. Has some cantrips. Has some mana. Has some powerful spells. So
yeah, it's got
a
your
keep.
got your probes. So he's going to turn 1 probe him, paying 2 life.
In case people are wondering why he's playing a land before kind of probing, it's just to play around days.
Yeah. So
this is a pretty decent hand. It's a little bit slower than Thomas would like, but it does have the turn 2 chalice, which is pretty important. And then it has, I think, 3 lords and, well, 4 lords technically, but I think the Marrow Reverie or Regery is 3 mana, I think, as opposed to the 2.
Marrow River. Can you pronounce? I was trying to pronounce earlier when calling out the list. Marrow Reverie.
Reverie, yeah,
Reverie.
or whatever it is.
Marrow
yeah.
Reverie.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Which is a nice card.
Again, the Chalice of the Void is going to be coming down after Adam has been playing. He's going to play a Ponder now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's coming down on Thomas's turn 2 is still fine for the Chalice. Adam has had 1 spell max. You know what I mean?
That's kind of true.
I don't think there's any way for Thomas to get it down quicker than turn 2. I don't think he runs any of the 2 mana lands.
No, he's not able to do that, unfortunately. But we will see the Ponder one. There's a dig. There's
it's 2 digs and a Cunning Wish. I don't think that's that's not what he wants.
So Thomas, kind of happy here. Do you think he's going to play the Chalice of the Void now, or do you think he just goes for it?
No, I think this time he definitely plays the Chalice of the Void. There's no question about it.
Yeah. Right.
A Force here would be good.
So yeah, Brainstorm and that might be useless.
So Adam Alex knows the Chalice is coming. He also knows that there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah. So Cameron goes down, naming Titans. Quite a mistake. No, of course, naming Merfolk. So Chalice down for 1.
And now there are at least 3 cards locked out for Adam Alex. So just the power of the Chalice. There's like a 3 for 1, which will probably only ever be more than that.
Exactly. He's all the cantrips now in Adam Alex's hand are dead, so we could see him.
Okay, so the Reverie is only actually 2 mana. Oh no, it's 3 mana. Sorry,
Yeah,
I see there's 3 mana there. It's just his hand is in the way. So Impulse, this might be in response. So he's going to have
it is in response.
Yeah, but he can't be countering it. So
yeah, Emrakul, Force of Will, Dig Through Time. He's obviously very impressed by the 2 Emrakuls.
I don't know if he even takes the Force there. It might have been an Emrakul pick there because he is show and tell.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to get it down. He's drawn another City of Traders. Difficult position for Adam Alex here. He hasn't really been in this
I feel like
quandary before.
Like you do, like the Force of Will backup is very nice and almost mandatory for a show and tell, but not mandatory.
The thing is, with his Force of Will now, he can actually just end up pitching his brainstorms and things like that.
That's true. That's true. He can find a use for them. Yeah.
Now it's just a free, essentially a free counter. You know, by just taking out your brainstorms or your ponders or whatever else. One
thing to actually remember, I'm not sure how the rules kind of go on this, but he can still try and ponder. And if Tomas doesn't actually go trigger, well then the ponder will resolve.
he tries it there because
he's really just fueling for
he's obviously fueling for dig.
Yeah,
you'd like to think he's trying to do that. So
this guy actually draws a card when he comes into play if you reveal a Merfolk. So he's drawn that.
Amazing. Merfolk are so versatile in their little ETB functions.
So, and the other guy, the Reverie lets you tap and untap permanents. So he was able to untap the island to get another extra mana.
Excellent. Just a lot of smooth interactions with Merfolk. Tapping 2. And
so another Lord, and he's going to untap the island, and he's going to cast an illusion after that.
It's not a Lord, it's a Master. There's a difference.
Well, no, the guys are called Lords. The guys get +1/+1.
I know,
they come under the umbrella of Lord.
The umbrella of Lord. Oh no, it's just when I was going through the the deck earlier, he just has a 4 Lord and 4 Master
okay.
now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I get you.
I was wondering about the political quandaries that go on in Atlantis. You know, you've got all these Lords and Masters running around the place.
Adam Alex is showing off his pen twirling technique
Yeah.
just to kind of try and
Not as good as his magic technique.
fluster the opponent.
Yeah, you know Adam Alex is flustered when the pen comes out and just starts doing a majestic dance across the table.
There is an awful lot of damage on board.
Yeah,
That might be just a one-turn clock. Let's see.
It's looking extremely good. Phantasmal image on top of the Lords.
There's
here.
12, I think, and okay, there's no Mutavault. So
Yeah,
you might get another
and
turn.
It looks like Adam's on 14 life if we're to trust Thomas's phone. So, I think Thomas will be. Doing that. So, what does Adam Alex do here? Yeah, so he's tapping 1 Brainstorm. That's going to be countered.
Yeah, he kind of
Yeah.
just needs to wait for a blue source, and it has to be next turn, or else he's
Yeah,
dead.
I think he's actually just
Yeah,
dead this turn.
another Lord, and he's dead.
Yeah, very high chance of that happening as
Yeah.
well.
Because that's all the deck is, really. There
And
we go.
there it
So
is.
that's lethal.
Yeah, and Adam Alex knows it and packs up his deck, and yeah.
So the only
interesting now.
the line I think that the decision that Adam Alex took to take the Force over the Emrakul,
yeah,
I think might have been the kind of pivotal thing. If he kind of, you know,
try to show
just
and
goes
tell.
3 sheets to the wind kind of thing and just goes for it.
Yeah,
You know, if he
yeah.
just actually just goes for it, then maybe he wins. But trying to play through a chalice and stuff like that, and
It was a very difficult game for him. That's the type of game where the chalice comes up trumps. You know, where you're playing, you're on the play, you get a down turn 2. Sure, Adam Alex did play the Gitaxian Probe and Ponder, but yeah, ultimately it didn't matter. Just the lockout from the Chalice of the Void kept him completely at bay.
yeah.
Not able to really dig too much. Not drawing too spectacularly either.
Kind of explosive turn from Thomas as well
Yeah.
might have caught him off guard a little bit.
That's true.
Untapping the lands, generating extra mana,
Yeah,
drawing
and
cards.
drawing the cards and just getting the fish down, getting his beaters down.
Yeah.
So Adam Alex talking to someone on his phone there, very rude of him. Yeah, he is a bit of a diva though. You know, he's on stream. This is obviously he's talking to his agent. You know, you have to get me onto the late.
He's probably got someone like watching the stream, so he's just getting some info from them. You know, outside assistance.
We should look at this. Like, we should definitely look at this. It won't be. It won't be unknown. There was actually, believe it or not, a Peruvian Dota team got caught watching the stream.
No way.
While they were playing. Yeah, they got caught because the internet cafe they were in had security cameras. And
Hilarious.
they checked up the security cameras and they were caught and they're banned. They are now banned from
Wow.
competitive play.
Peruvians, eh?
Yeah. Peruvian Dota teams. Not to be trusted. Oh no, well, I say that, but like 1 or 2 of them are lovely.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to be going into game 3 here. This is the test of Adam's mettle here. Is you know, he was very flashy in the games he's won, you know, but like now that he's up against it, can he play under pressure, or will he crack? What is he? Is he a level 2 judge?
No, he's level 1.
Oh, he's level 1
But
judge.
I don't know if he's renewed his judge license or whatever it is, judge certificate.
Oh, you get judge licenses.
Yeah, you get it for a year, I
Yeah.
think, and then if you don't judge any events, then you don't get to keep your judge thing.
Oh dear. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He is dig through time.
This looks like a fine hand. 3 1-mana cantrips, a counter spell, and a dig.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine.
seems-
Tomas has Island, Mutavault, Days, Lord of Atlantis, maybe Force of Will in there. So it looks
Yeah.
like a pretty solid hand from Tomas as well. Although he seems to be taking a little more time to think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe not enough kind of.
Answers.
Counter magic
Yeah, that's
or-
what he's looking for.
No,
I
he's
think.
capped. He's
okay,
capped.
he's capped.
So we're going preordained first.
Lovely spell. Preordained. There's Show and Tell and Ponder. What does he think?
Yeah, I think he's probably keeping both of these cards.
Yeah, definitely. So he puts the show and tell on top and Ponder
Okay,
on the
so
bottom.
Ponder, he's got a couple of other cantrips still, so maybe he doesn't want to.
He's proving
overload.
keeping the show and tell as well. He really wants to.
Well, yeah, he didn't have a show and tell, and he has the omniscience,
Yeah.
so he's pretty close to just going for it here.
Yeah. Here's
We're
Ponder.
getting some info on Tomas's cards. In addition to the ones we already called out, he has Force of Will, True Name Nemesis, and a Chalice.
Ooh.
So that's another reason that Adam Alex might not have taken the extra Ponder, is just
In case a chalice comes in.
he
Yeah.
doesn't want to have too many 1-mana spells in his hand.
And we've got a distinct feeling that chalice will be coming 10 next turn. It has worked out for Thomas in the last game, so there's no reason not to do it.
Yep.
That's the thing. Can you chalice for 2 in this game? Can you do a turn
Yeah.
3, or is that
Well, you can't do it on turn 3. In turn 4, you can do it.
turn 4? is
Yeah,
what I mean,
I've seen it plenty of times, even from Tomas himself. At one point, he had a Chalice for 0, a Chalice for 1, and a Chalice for 2 out.
Very interesting. The chalice for 0?
Actually,
That's
no,
cheeky.
No, actually, I'm wrong. It was Chalice for 1, Chalice for 2, Chalice for 3. He
right.
didn't Chalice for 0.
Oh, okay. We've seen that backfire on stream here before, is playing too many chalices for bad costs, especially in Modern with the robots deck. But we
So
are
that's
back here.
And there's a Pact of Negation drawn there for Adam Alex, which is a nice get out of jail free card.
Yeah, well, it won't have an effect until later in the game. Thomas is drawn.
It could be next.
good
It
luck.
could be next turn. Because
Pact of Negation?
Yeah. Because he'll
Isn't
be,
that 5 mana?
but it's free, and then you pay 5 in your next upkeep to pay for the spell.
Yeah, where's
for
he getting
that-
the...
But he's just not going to get to the next upkeep. He's going to win on the turn.
Ah, very clever. Of course. So,
The
tapping
Chalice.
2.
No, okay, the Lord.
Lord.
So this is fishy now. If I'm Adam Alex,
This is fishy.
oops. But if
Please
I'm Adam
come out.
Alex, it smells bad
It
because
smells fishy.
yeah, because you don't just
Yeah.
tap out like that as when you're playing against a combo deck. So it means that there's forces, there's dazes, there's something
Yeah.
there.
He knows something's up. He wouldn't just throw out a naked Lord of Atlantis.
Yeah.
There has to be a bit more follow up here to it.
I think so.
And we'll see how Adam Alex decides to play. We see he's got the show and tell in his hand, so there is and
He's
I
going
think
for
he's
it.
going for it, yeah. Okay, show and tell.
So this is going to start with a daze.
Yeah.
We've packed the daze.
Hmm.
So now Thomas needs to have either another daze
Or Force of Will.
yeah. I don't know if he runs
I
misdirections.
don't think he saw the Pact
Does
of
he have-
Negation coming.
He doesn't have misdirection.
No, he doesn't.
He has Mind Break Trap, which some people bring it in against these kind of decks. It would be nice if he did.
Ooh, this is where it gets a bit suspect. Oh, he's got the Force of Will. Adam Alex is showing off. He's like, no, son, this is happening.
Yep, more than likely.
Yep. So yeah, Force
Okay,
of Will.
So there is a force.
Here's
Adam forcing back, exiling his Glittering Wish.
yeah.
So, or Cunning Wish. So, okay, so he has dig. So Omniscience comes in, then he digs.
Yeah, this is
and this is
fine.
going to be
Dig through time.
more than likely. It's going to be lights out. A daze here or anything though is pretty funny.
Certainly is.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's not great. So
that's not-
Gitaxian
yeah.
Probe and Gitaxian Probe and I guess Pact of Negation maybe, or
Well, he's already dead from one Pact of Negation.
wow,
Yeah, gee, this is not good.
Gitaxian Probe has to give him something
Oh,
good.
it's this is do or die. Taxi and Probe, quick. And he realizing. Okay, so he sees Chalice and etc.
Oh my god,
And it's Force of Will, and he loses the game. Oh dear.
unfortunate, very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
very unfortunate. he went. I appreciate the risk taking there, going all in like that. You know,
Seeing 7 cards, you think you're going to be able to.
Yeah.
But I was surprised he pitched the Cunning Wish as opposed to pitching the Pact of Negation or whatever else he had in his hand.
That's very true, actually. Like,
because Omniscience with Cunning Wish is amazing.
If he didn't Pact of Negation, and instead he used his other Force of Will.
He drew that at the end. He didn't have the
of
Force there.
Sorry. So yeah, we're there, just de-sideboarding now. So very well played to Thomas. I think he's 4-0 now. So he's definitely guaranteed into the top 4 and definitely guaranteed into the prizes. So he'll be rather pleased with himself. Adam Alex, I'd imagine he's into the top 4. We don't know how many rounds it is until the top 4 is decided, though. So actually, I'm just going to pop out and ask.
Yes, do some recon.
Yeah, do some recon. Be right back.
Cool. So I'm just going to name out some of the other decks that we have here today. We have Alex Moran on Hypergenesis. So if you're unfamiliar with Hypergenesis, I'm going to kind of read out what the list is. There's 4 Violent Outburst, which is a 3-mana cascade spell. So the idea being that you cascade into Hypergenesis itself, which normally has a big long or a suspend cost, and then Hypergenesis lets both players, I believe, put permanents or maybe it's only creatures from their hand into play. So creatures that Alex would be putting into play would be Griselbrands, Emrakuls, Maelstrom Wanderers, Ionas, Progenitus, Tyrant of Discord, and he also has a Xenagod. And a Xenagod, he was telling me, is absolutely hilarious. His favorite combo, well, maybe it's not his favorite, but one he mentioned before was Hypergenesing in Griselbrand and a Xenagod. Xenagod then proceeds to give Emrakul +15/+15 in haste. So you've got a 30/30 hasty Emrakul coming at you.
Sick.
Yeah. So another deck.
I want to get Gabe versus Dan Gillian.
Okay.
Perfect. So that was just Eamon, who's doing the producing role today. He just mentioned that Gabriel, who is on Infect,
He's on Infect.
is going to be playing Dan, who is playing Miracles.
No, Dan's Esper Stoneblade, I think.
Dan is Esper Stoneblade.
Yeah, have a look.
Sweet. So he's going back to the old Esper Stoneblade.
Yeah.
Sweet. Because Dan has been on Miracles for a while now, so it's good to see him going back to the Stoneblade. He was using this for a long time.
Look at that. Casual Caracas in his deck.
Oh yeah.
when you got the money, or when you got the ability to put in a casual Caracas, then why not?
Oh yeah.
Great card, love it. One of my favorites.
Just having a quick look at these guys' deck lists. Poison. Just nothing unusual about it really.
Yeah, it seemed fairly straightforward. Anything unusual in Dan's? Is he gone for something a bit crazy?
Everything's pretty solid. 4 Plowshares, 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Pierce, 3 Force of Will. So he's shaving on the Force of Wills, but I don't mind that. 2 Digs, 2 Lilies with Jace, the 4 Stone Forges. It's a nice solid list. There's nothing outrageous in it. He does have nice removal, some hand hate, some counter magic. It's going to be tough for Gabriel to get through.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
In fact, has its own tricks.
Certainly does.
It's quite resilient.
It's got flying Inkmoth nexuses that can blow up in your face as well. So,
yeah.
Oh, Dan, forgetting to unsideboard there, I believe. Or no, sorry. This is obviously game 2 or 3, so obviously went to re-sideboard there. He actually took out a Force of Will in favor of a Liliana. So that's quite telling. He obviously wants the Lilies in for the sack effect, which is very, very powerful in this match. Also, the discard can be very good too, forcing the Infect player just to run out of cards and therefore steam.
It's 1-1.
So it's one apiece.
It's 1-1, so this is game 3.
We'll see who's on the play now. basically, I fancy whoever it is on the play.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah. Whoever's on the play is going to win, says Will.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's more draw dependent than that. So
No, I think whoever just gets to go first, if they have a productive hand that benefits them having
Yeah.
the first play, then that's it.
okay, so
But that's very general.
we're
but-
gonna have a look at the hands now. We're not quite sure who's on the play. We'll find out obviously in a second. Who's on the play / who Will thinks the winner is.
yeah.
So
So it's pretty not a great hand, but an okay hand from Dan. He
Yeah,
can have a
pretty
turn
standard.
to Vindicate if he wants. So Dan is on the play.
yeah, Deathright
He
Shaman.
might not actually have a turn to Vindicate because there's no fetch.
So we see Tropical Island into Glistener Elf.
So we have some info on Gabriel's hand here. He has a Misty Rainforest, an Invigorate, a Force of Will, Become Immense.
Ooh, become immense.
And he has 2 Invigorates apparently. So that's pretty big. So we did have a fetch from Dan, so that means the turn 2 Vindicate is on.
Yeah, and
So this is a good opportunity to try and get rid of the threat.
yeah, often very good against.
There's actually a Berserk in Gabriel's hand as well. So this
Really?
this Glistener has to die.
Oh no! So will Dan see that? I'd imagine he would. He's very aware as to what Infect Dex can do. Yeah. So yeah, there it is.
Now
Gabriel not happy.
he could have a Force of Will or Days of his own. So no, look,
he
he's
doesn't.
happy to let that go.
Yeah, that must be frustrating though. Seeing your kill just taken away. So it plays Misty Rainforest.
Double Force
And-
from Dan.
Yeah, past the turn, double force. This is excellent. I really think Dan's in the driver's seat now. In fact, sometimes like playing the long game with it can just be very, very, very narrow.
So it's great just to be
Yeah.
able to draw the Stoneforge when you need
It is great. There's a Force of Will into. So he had Force of Will.
Well, he must have just drawn a blue card, I think.
Oh
Then
right, yeah, that must have been it.
so Dan
Yeah,
is willing to battle over this.
Force of Will to Force of Will. Yeah. So Dan's only got one Force of Will left in the stack now.
So this is
I think
more
he's
than
pretty
likely.
comfortable, though.
This is probably going to be an Umazawa's Jeet.
Yeah.
It's kind of perfect for dealing with small creatures.
Yeah, there's the Jeet. Dan, very, very comfortable. He's even got mana to use the Deathright Shaman with as well. So.
Yeah.
Or even a Ponder, something like that. Very, very. He'll be very happy with himself. Gabriel fetching for another Tropical Island. Dan presenting his deck. Always good to do.
He's got no fetches to use. So.
Yeah, so Gabriel rocking a hard place. How's he gonna do it? Ooh.
Oh, he does have a fetch to use.
Does he?
There's a fetch in the bin.
Oh yes, of course. So yeah, Dan drawing there.
Wow, Source of Plowshares.
Yeah.
I don't see.
There's no good way out. So yeah, he's getting rid. So he's creating 4 mana. I think we're going to see the. Yeah, there's the Jeet out.
Costs 2 mana to do that. Oh, he's
Yeah.
using the Deathright to do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's using the Deathright to do it, and the Jeet doesn't get cast there. It just comes into play off
Yeah.
the Stoneforge, so can't be countered. It's very, very powerful mechanic of the Stoneforge, and what makes them banned in Modern. Why you'd only see them really in Legacy. Very, very powerful card.
2 plows, a Snapcaster.
Dear. So I think we're going to see an equipped Jeet.
We are.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really nasty for Gabriel. Yeah, there it is. Jeet, equipped. I'm going to attack. Gabriel going, please stop this immediately, sir. We're going to see 2 counters going to the Jeet there, and I think they're just going to stay there. Like,
There is there's some reckless stuff that Gabriel can do here. I'm pretty sure he's Dryad Arbors in his deck, so he could fetch out a Dryad Arbor, maybe pump it with one of his spells to try and kill this Stoneforge.
yeah, very possible. force Dan into having to equip the Jeet onto the Deathrite Shaman.
Unfortunately,
or
we
find something
know
else.
that Dan has plows.
And yeah, the plows stop that plan. That the plow in actual fact is excellent there because
Okay, so
Oh.
this is going to do twice the damage, but then the Stoneforge will die at the end
Yeah,
of turn.
this
so
is
I
interesting.
haven't actually seen Berserk used like this before, but it's pretty good. So there's going to
Yeah.
be 2 damage and 2 counters for the Umezawa's Jeet.
that's pretty wild move there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he needs it.
Pretty interesting, yeah. I like that. Good
Yeah.
decision.
So this will give another chance, another roll of the dice. He's just passing the turn again, though. Oh dear, Gabriel. I don't think this is. He obviously is kind of clutching at the straws here, and then when the 2 Swords of Plowshares in Dan's hand as well just really indicates a very rough time. There we go with the Salt Marshes out for Dan. He's tapping 2, equipping the Jeet onto the Deathrite Shaman and attacking. And
Dealing 5 damage.
yeah, putting the Jeet onto 2 again.
Yep.
So leaving 2 mana up as well.
So that's a Pendelhaven.
Yeah, Pendelhaven. Is Gabriel going to get anything down on the board though? I don't think he will be. And
See, he has to be able to protect it as well.
yeah, he's all he has to play through these
There's just
swords.
a non-value Snapcaster, just a beater.
This is we were talking about that earlier.
So that's 7 coming across now.
Yeah. Oh, game over.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
games, good games.
Good.
Now, unfortunately, the Infect player didn't really get to
Yeah, that
construct anything really.
Yeah.
But that's solid play from Dan.
Yeah, a very good run of cards there.
He was on the play.
He was on the play, so you got it right. You're 1 for 1, Will. Obviously, this is why they call you the Godfather of Irish Magic. Is it? You're able to pick the winners. Have you thought of a gambling syndicate, betting on all these young players?
I have.
Have you?
I've thought about looking for one, but
Ah, dear. Good question actually. Can you gamble on the Pro Circuit?
you can gamble on anything. But I mean, it wouldn't be Wizards that have the.
Of course,
that have okayed it.
they're no bookies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure Paddy Power somewhere have betting on Magic.
Yeah. There are some companies online
Yeah.
that deal with games and tournaments and stuff like that.
Oh,
there's
that's
not
certainly
there's
true.
not many though.
Okay, so yeah, that was that I believe is the end of round 4 anyway. So we are going into a 5th round, and then there will be the top 4. So, chance for a lot of players to redeem themselves.
We're gonna try and get the standings actually.
Yeah,
As soon as possible.
we'll get the standings in for this last round. We'll have to ask Judge Xander. Is Xander actually playing, or is he just judging?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't see him playing, so...
No, he is actually playing.
Is he?
Is, yeah. Well, Alex gave me his list, so
Oh,
I
right.
think it was like junk or something similar.
Yeah, it'll be a green-white something. A green-white something.
Here we go. I think this is it. So, oh, no, that's not it. That's elves.
Yeah, dirty elves. So, what are we...
Where is Sanders' deck? It's definitely here. No, it's not. Huh.
Oh, well. There is this shiny lands deck I really want to see that being played.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But unfortunately for the final round, we will probably be looking at the players in contention for the final. And from what I heard, the shiny lands player.
Not in contention?
Oh
well.
Do we have our noise machine?
No, I didn't bring it in.
I could be like Jones from Police Academy, and just make my own noises. Oh God, Police Academy! Never thought I'd mention that in the stream.
It's so good.
Anyway, enough of Steve Gutenberg films. Yeah, we're going to be looking into who's going to be top of the leaderboard. Is there anyone that's really impressed you today? Like Susan, obviously.
Yeah, I thought Susan's play was pretty decent, so I'd like to see her in the top 4. Dan looked pretty tidy there as well, except, I mean, unfortunately Gabriel's deck didn't do him really justice there in that last game.
Despite making like reasonable plays, such as berserking the Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah.
Has to be done sometimes, but trying to think who else now. I guess it'd be nice to see Mark in there with the Shardless Bug.
He was 2-2.
Was he? Okay,
Yeah.
he's not going to be in there.
So I don't think he could. Well, he could have won his last round, or was he 2-2? I can't remember.
Well, he'd be 2-2 after this round, if anything, because this is before.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
I need to get another tea.
You need another tea?
I do.
Oh, sorry, he was 2-1. He was 2-1, so it's entirely possible.
Do you want tea?
No, I'm good. Don't worry. But yeah, the top 4 should be interesting. I'd imagine Adam Alex is in there. I'd imagine Thomas is in there with his Merfolk. Susan again with the Threshold. She seems to be playing quite well. Alex would be very interesting playing with the Hypergenesis. I was talking to him earlier. He was doing very, very well. He was against a Burn player, and he said it was just a really easy match. In other news, Stephen Cully, who was playing Miracles, managed to draw a game against a Burn player. How? Who knows? It sounded pretty ridiculous, though. You know, it's not often that you'd be drawing a game against a Burn player. So something must have happened there. There must have been something up. One game must have got locked into one of those kind of nothing games where nothing happens for just ages, but both player doesn't want to lose it. Haven't seen Evan playing either. Ev normally a pretty good legacy player. Definitely has his head screwed on for it, and I think he enjoys it a lot more than Modern because he doesn't have to play his whatchamacallit, the Exarch, the twin Exarch decks that he normally plays in Modern, which he finds effective but cumbersome and annoying. So yeah, I'm looking at his deck list now, and it's a Delver deck. So Jeskai Delver, I'd imagine. Any other interesting decks in here? I'm not actually quite sure. There's Craig's deck. He can trolling me with his deck. James King, he was on Storm, lost his first game. And Nicholas, what deck are you running? He is running... Ooh, this looks like a junk deck. Yeah, so Nicholas is running 4 Night of the Reliquary, 4 Dark Confidant, 4 Deathrite Shaman, 4 Vampire Hex Mage, 3 Crop Rotation, 3 Living Wish, 3 Source of Plowshares, 3 Abrupt Decays, 4 Thoughtseize, 1 Inquisition and Kozilek, 2 Sylvan Library, and 1 Duress. Yeah, I really wouldn't mind seeing this deck being played. I love Night of the Reliquary. Really, one of my favourite cards, one of my favourite beaters. Love it to death. Nothing too interesting in his side. Ooh, there is an Orzhov Pontiff in there. And 3 Gaddock Teagues. Haven't seen Gaddock Teague being played in quite some time. Ooh, he's got a very cheeky sideboard as well. He's got a Thespian Stage and a Dark Depths and a Tabernacle. So that's very interesting. And 3 Thalias, 3 Containment Priests, 1 Wasteland, 1 Orzhov Pontiff, 3 Gaddock Teagues, and 1 Maze of Ith. So very interesting deck from Nicholas there. Kind of playing a junk deck. So I'm not too sure how good he's doing. I hope well. I wouldn't mind seeing the deck. Did you find something out in your scouting mission, Will?
Well, at the moment we're trying to decide on future price structure.
Future price structure?
Yeah, so there's talk. I was just talking to Martin there, who's the owner of the shop. So some people kind of were requesting a higher entrance fee, just so the prizes could be better.
Okay.
At the moment, to cover the cost of the room, the price is €10.
Yeah. So
And out of those €10, €8 is coming back into prizes.
yeah. Okay.
But Martin was saying that if we up it to 15 like people want,
Yeah.
not only does a higher percentage of the entrance fee go to prizes, it just
Yeah.
means there's bigger prizes as well.
Yeah.
So
I think that's really attractive for players to come and enter tournaments. Is just how big the prize pool is. It's definitely very attractive, especially if you're super into the game and very, very confident in your abilities. Then even for players that don't do so well, you know, they might get you might get something anyway. Then with the prize pool being so big.
but particularly I think for Legacy, when even the staples
Yes.
can be quite expensive.
Fierce expensive.
Yeah, so just being
Yeah.
able to get some of your staples from just doing well at the tournament,
Yeah.
things like that.
If four off reach stamp ports don't come from don't come from nowhere, you know.
Yeah,
Caracas and all these kind of super cards. Like you can look through any of the deck lists here, and there's always cards of just absolutely insane value. Like, you know.
yeah.
I am very glad though that the
For example, the sideboard in Nicholas's deck has a tabernacle.
yes the old sideboard tabernacle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a foil tabernacle here.
That must be Judge Reward then.
Yeah, it's in the lands deck, I believe. Yeah, apparently it's a mint condition foil tabernacle.
So that is probably.
Would you say
Hard-
it's the most
hard to
valuable
even-
card here?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
You'd say so. That's very. There should be a prize for that. Who was the most expensive card in a legacy competition? I'd hate to see that in vintage, because just whoever has the Black Lotus wins.
The best condition Black Lotus.
Yeah, the best condition Black Lotus. Like. Oh, vintage. Vintage is the type of magic that I do not quite understand. It looks fantastic though. It looks very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So hopefully this round is going to start soon. William, fill us in on some lore.
On the spot now.
On the spot. Tell
Let's
us.
see.
All right, here's one. Here's a good one, because Battle for Zendikar is coming up, and Emrakul and Co are being reprinted in Modern Masters 2. Tell us about the Eldrazi.
Do you know it's actually a phase in Magic that I'm not all that familiar with.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I know. Is Karn involved with them? I think Karn is involved.
Karn
think.
involved with
Yeah,
them?
somehow.
God.
Maybe.
What
No.
about okay? Give you an easy one. Who was Urza?
Urza was one of the brothers. There was Mishra and Urza, who were kind of powerful artificers
Yeah.
back in the day, and they fell out and started warring with each other for centuries.
What they fall out over?
Oh, power!
Oh, power.
Who
of
gets
course,
to have
the
this?
usual.
Who gets to have that?
Much like the Lords of Atlantis.
And I think they came across some really powerful artifact. I think.
They both wanted it.
Yeah, and they broke it. And like took kind of half each,
Yeah.
which and you know they were still able to draw power from these things, but obviously not as good as if it was whole.
Yeah.
I think Urza was the bad guy. I think I always get this. mixed
Urza
up.
was the bad guy.
Yeah.
I think Mishra is the bad guy. From
It's
what
possible.
I remember.
Well, like whichever one was
Well,
still alive
Urza-
years later is the good guy.
Urza wore glasses. And people that wear glasses aren't bad guys in things. Except, like, you know, those kind of weird, nerdy bad guys that, you know, are kind of
Yeah.
creepy. But
Well,
I don't think Urza
the
was
two
like
brothers had the war anyway. They involved loads of people, and eventually one of them died. And
Right.
the other guy then went on to build Karn, and then Karn and Weatherlight went on to do loads of adventures and
Yeah,
you know go to different dimensions and become self-aware and well, all this kind of stuff. It's all very interesting, but I recommend people to go on YouTube, all that stuff. There's some guys out there that kind of will talk through the whole story.
Yeah,
A lot better than I will.
Of course, there's a lot. There's a lot of books. There's comics even that people read. I don't know. I know very little of the lore. I just you'd read some stuff at the bottom of the card and guess as to their whereabouts. Like Elsbeth died. I think that was that was one of the things that happened in Theros and stuff like that.
Did someone go to rescue her from the underworld though, or something? Right?
I don't know.
I think Ojani might have.
He might have given it a go. I think he just gave up though. Just went, enough of this. Didn't and then he was in Magic 15 as well, Johnny.
Okay.
Right, we've got standings, so I'm gonna have a brief look at the standings.
Cool.
I'll be back in a second.
Yep.
They're not the ones. Anyway, I'm going to
I know, it's the closest thing. It won't do anything to it. Let's not do anything to it. Somehow get knocked out. Lose out of the top 3. Or top 4. Quick handshake. See you in the top 8. Top 4 should I say, sorry, yeah. It's even possible an UID I've seen stuff like that as well. Yeah, we'll be first and second here. So you deserve that. You know why. We're going first. You deserve that. I made a right chin of my head myself. No, don't spoil it. I'll listen to it. He's playing this guy. You read it? My skin on stream? Sweet. Then I just say that the whole time. Lads, I'm on an ID here. By any chance I could jump in with just for a little match?
Yeah, go for it.
Is there
Will,
space?
kind of maybe.
It might
You
be a
can
bit tight,
maybe
but if there's any space, I'll happily jump in.
maybe stand around there.
Very tight.
Yeah, we're still on air. Will legged it for a smoke, so I do have the rankings here. So Dan Gilligan, top there.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, 12. We saw you play. It was very, very impressive. Thomas, he's on 12 as well. He's playing Merfolk, isn't he? I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's playing Merfolk. Nicola Kaznisi, who we haven't seen on stream, he's on 9 points in third. Adam Alex, who we've seen twice on stream, he's in fourth and 9. Evan McHugh, he's fifth, again 9 points. And Susan, who is playing it's like Canadian. It's Threshold Delver. She is on 9 points as well. That's her top 6. And then just beneath that is Stephen Cully, Gabriel Ramon, Bruno Sosa, and Mark Piggott.
Will's on a break.
Cool. We're going to have Adam, Alex, and Nicola Cassini.
Cool. Me and you, Jazzy old boy.
We're going to have Adam Alex again, his third game on stream.
Okay. Is this just open? Is that what you've been doing?
Yeah,
Okay.
we just kind of closed it over a little bit. Sorry, guys. Guest commentator, who is actually kind of a regular commentator on Serious Business here. It's Mr. Dan Gilligan. Dan, how are you?
Howdy. All right. Not doing too bad, man.
Yeah.
Finally started winning a few games of Magic for once in my life.
You could say you've won 4 in a row.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. How's your deck playing? We saw you there very, very briefly. It seemed quite impressive. You seemed pretty impressive with yourself.
I seem pretty impressive.
You did
myself,
yeah. When you're playing, you could just see the body language
Yeah.
of players. Like
Yeah.
it is one thing you notice when you're streaming. Like Susan, for example, was getting frustrated earlier and you could
Throwing
see
stuff
her-
down.
Yeah, throwing stuff down and stuff. But you seem nice and relaxed, you know.
Yeah,
and,
it was. I think once the Stoneforge Mystic resolves, like against that deck,
Yeah.
it's really you've like 1 to 2 really tense turns.
Yes.
You know, you've got the kind of I need to get out of this turn alive kind of thing, and then
Yeah,
once
yeah.
you know,
It's-
it's almost like the key spell resolves, and then you know you're safe. I think it was in that moment was when the Stoneforge Mystic resolved,
Yeah.
and I was able to go and find the shit. I was like, okay, right, he's no creature on the battlefield now. Best he can do is go top deck a creature, play it, and then he's gonna like spend some of his mana, that kind of thing.
We saw that as well. You had the 2 swords plowshares.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there obviously going, right, I've got 2 swords, so anything he does put down.
Yeah, I was
know,
pretty safe
you're
at
gone.
that point. Like,
So, like, when you do have that kind of like advantage, and you know it, and the opponent might know it, is there certain ways that you play that you kind of go, right, you know, I can't give too much
Yeah,
information
you really have
away.
to kind of hold yourself together in a sense. Don't appear too cocky.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some gamesmanship that you can kind of appear cocky in a bad situation and make it seem like things are going better. But usually, if things are going bad, you can't really appear cocky, you know.
Yeah.
So you
That's-
just kind of keep your head down.
It's actually far more common to see someone, you know, when someone's being a bit cocky, then you're like, oh, right, they actually have nothing.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know?
And then the other thing as well is, which happens a lot, and it's kind of one of the main things you have to keep in mind when you get into a situation when you are very comfortable in the game.
Yeah.
Don't make mistakes. People get cocky. They start playing faster because they want to win. You know, you always see when
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
gets a hold in the game, they start to pick up their pace of play, and you just make stupid mistakes. Then you get
Oh,
sloppy, you know.
I've lost many games
Yeah.
because of
absolutely, like-
because playing too fast, and
Yeah.
then you know you allow the mistakes to be made.
Yeah, a perfect
Yeah.
example would have been, for example, in that game, if I attack and hit him and forget my Jita trigger. Like as long as I remember my Jita trigger and get my counters, I'm never losing that game. But one
Yeah.
turn where I forget the counters can make all the difference.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
that's-
saw something very similar in our very first game. We saw James King kill himself.
I heard that.
Yeah, with
forgetting about his man or something, wasn't it?
Me and Will were casting the game. We saw he played ad nauseum. You know, we were counting along his cards, we were counting along his life, and then of course, he's got the kill. There it is. We can see it on the board, and he kept going.
Kept going.
he
He
kept
just
going.
didn't stop.
Yeah,
he got really
just-
greedy.
Yeah, he didn't stop ad nauseum. And Mark, he was playing against Mark, and Mark had a terrible hand. Like it was just a game he was going to lose.
He said it to me. He was just
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'd lost. I was resigned. I was practically
Yeah, yeah.
shuffling up, and he just died all of a sudden."
Yeah, and Mark, you could see in the stream, Mark's just kind of sitting there with his hands crossed, going, "Oh, I've won."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Really?
Okay.
Right.
The guys shuffling up here. The guys have shuffled up. It appears. This is Nikolai. Niccolo. Sorry, excuse me.
Kaznici
or Kaznici.
Kaznici. You should know this from like Italian football players.
Yeah. And Adam Alexander here. So these guys are playing for top 4, of course.
Yeah, this
So-
is Adam's third time, 3 out of 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Adam's been on stream. So
enough.
yeah,
Okay,
he,
cool. So-
he certainly has his fans out there. Nicholas Cassini, he is playing a kind of a junk deck. You know, junk. Good stuff. The one I actually read out his deck list earlier, but I'll do it again. So he's got the usual kind of assortments of lands, but the thing he does have here, which is very interesting, he's got 2 Dark Depths and 2 Thespian Stages.
Yeah, it's a
So-
sweet combo. I played against him earlier on. It's like a kind of a nice, dark, confidant, like a junk sort of deck with
Yeah.
the usual abrupt decay, all that kind of stuff. And then he just has this combo finish, which is really nice, actually. I beat him, but just about it. They were really close games.
Yeah, and what's tell us about Sajiri Step?
Oh, Sajiri Step is a nice one. You can get off the Knight of the Reliquary. You can keep a creature protection from a colour of your choice at instant speed if you have the Knight out. So
Yeah.
we're off and running here. So
Yeah.
let's get back to the deck list in a little bit.
Cool. So we're seeing turn 1 fetch the blue to Delta for an island. This is Adam Alex, so I'd imagine his usual starts have been Taxian Probe and
He has
Ponder and things like that.
he has a preordain there
Yeah,
actually. So he
preordain,
got the
he'll
one
go for
lander
that.
here with preordain and some show and tells. And I didn't get a very good look at his hand, but it's definitely a 1-lander, and that's exactly what he wants to see on top. Another land. He's got a Force of Will, a Misdirection there, I think 2 copies of show and tell.
Yeah.
Scry 2, and he kept the other preordain as well, so he's probably going to lead out then preordain turn 2. So a nice little start here.
Yeah, he has been throwing a lot of the Taxian Probes. He doesn't get this round or this turn, so I believe he'll just pass.
He actually also has the is it the Omniscience? He's flashing
Yeah,
his
he's
hand.
no,
Maybe
it's
it's the
the
Omniscience in
it's-
hand as well.
I think it's the Enter the Infinite.
Oh, is it?
actually.
Okay, yeah.
So there we go. Just playing a land and passing. Now it's Adam's turn. Yeah, another preordain, and there's an Omniscience, and there is a Pact of Negation.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, that's the Enter the Infinite in hand. He has a Force of Will. He has that's the other the Dream Halls, I think, in hand. So it's Dream Halls, and he has the Show and Tell in his hand as well. So he has ways to get stuff out. So really, he wants an Omniscience, and I think Pact of Negation here. Oh wow, both to the bottom. I'm
Yeah,
quite surprised
that's-
by that.
okay,
that's what
so
he's
it's
looking for, a
yeah,
land.
City
Yep.
of Traders. He's setting up here, of course, for the Shell and Tell into the enter the Infinite, passing the turn. So nothing to untap. So he's just going to straight into his draw. We can't quite see his hand exactly, which is kind of frustrating.
Looks like a Savannah anyway. It's the only one card I can tell is the Savannah over there. Possibly a copy of Vampire Hexmage as well.
Yeah,
He has the Hexmage to go along with the Dark Depths as well, which is kind of an old school legacy combo.
Yeah, very very powerful indeed.
Funny as well, earlier on in the match I was playing against him, it came up where he played Vampire Hexmage and I had a Liliana on 3, and he didn't notice the thing where you can sacrifice to destroy my Liliana. It probably would have been a pretty good play of his at the time.
Certainly would.
But yeah, so he didn't make the play, but it's funny that he can get the other person's like Jace counters or whatever as well.
Yeah, really, really powerful. Just deciding what to do here. He's not entirely sure what he's kind of up against. I feel, it's very hard to read. I think he'll find out once once Adam Alex plays his. Oh, sorry, we are on
Living Wish.
That's Living Wish.
Yeah,
which
so
is
he's going to
this
go
time.
and search his for outside the game for a land or a creature spell. So this used to work when cards got exiled. You used to be able to do this as well, but for now, nowadays rules, as far as I know, you can only get something from your sideboard here with this card. So he's going to go and get a land or a creature. He will be looking for
Dark Depths.
maybe something like, well, yeah, he's going to go for Dark Depths here. That resolved, yeah. So he goes for Dark Depths. He also has stuff like Tabernacle of Pendrell Vale. He has Maze of Vith. He's got a whole lot of stuff like that. He'd have a Krakus, as far as I know, on his sideboard as well that he can go search for. So he's got a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, so he's got like a lot of answers, and then he can still combo off into the Dark Depths.
Absolutely,
and all that as well.
He can complete his package. He's one of each of the combo pieces in the board, and then just some handy little stuff as well like that. So
Yeah. Even like 4 knights and 4 Deathrite shamans and that kind of thing. Very, very, very practical deck. Even though it's doing unfair things with Dark Depths. So draw, it's a ponder, and we're going to see City of Traders. And is he just going to go for
Straight
it?
off,
He
show
is.
and tell.
Yeah, show and tell.
And this is problematic for a junk deck anyway. He's sitting there and he's like, yeah, sure. I'm going to get to put something in here. The best he could usually hope for is something like Caracas off that, and then unsummon, say, if they played a Grizzlebrand or an Emrakul. But against the mono blue deck, what they play is they play enchantments that they put in as opposed to creatures. So they'll put in either, you can see Dream Halls here, or an Omniscience. So now
And Enter the Infinite as well, of course.
the entity is the combo piece. It's the sorcery. You need either the Dream Halls or the Omniscience. So the Omniscience is the more expensive card, of course, where you can just play everything for free essentially without paying its mana cost from your hand. And then Dream Halls here, it's probably come up before, but this basically lets him to play spells by removing another spell with the same color. So here he removes a Ponder to cast the Enter the Infinite, and now he gets to pick up his entire deck. And I haven't yet seen his win condition, but these decks they usually play
His
the same
win
sort
condition's
of
actually in the sideboard. He's using the ants. So
Enter the Ants, or the Release the Ants, I believe it's called. is it?
release the
Okay,
ants.
so he can go. He just starts drawing his whole deck. He also has an Emrakul in it, which he's going to put back on top. Which has a converted mana cost of 15, and then they go Release the Ants. Again, I don't know if this has come up on stream.
It
we'll
has.
talk about it. Okay,
It's
cool.
like the thing is he's had Emrakul in his hand a good few times.
Yeah.
And he's never actually played the Emrakul.
Yeah, it's there for a 15 mana cost permanent.
Yeah,
So he
so
goes
he's showing-
Cunning Wish for the Release the Ants.
Yeah, and he's showing him the ants combo now. And this has happened quite often. Is here's what I'm doing with my ants combo, and then the other player read the card, going, "Oh dear."
Yeah. So I always mix up Cunning Wish, and there's one or two other spells. Cunning Wish is search for an instant from your sideboard, I think. So the Release the Ants must be an instant. Yeah. So just Cunning Wish there for the Release the Ants, and then
So straight on to game 2 after that, which. Of course, you get going straight to the sideboard now. Adam Alex doesn't really use the sideboard. He actually doesn't side anything
It's a wish
else.
board, yeah.
The
Ley
white-
Lines will be the one thing he'd probably sideboard in, which he may want here in some number, considering he's playing against black.
Yeah, there will be a lot of Thoughtseize and things like
Yeah,
that.
you can usually
Wipe
assume-
Away, of course, being pretty good as well.
Yes, Wipe Away. See, he's only got one of a lot of these other spells, so even if a card is good in a matchup, so say he wants whatever, Wipe Away for some reason, or one of these other scrolls that I can't read in a sideboard. Surgical Extraction, I think you
tell
can
me
read
about
there.
it.
So if you've got these cards that are good on a certain matchup, you still actually probably want to leave them in your board as opposed to in your deck, because they're actually easier to find in your board using the wishes as opposed to digging through.
Exactly.
So you'll see in some of these wish boards, some of the time you will have, say, 2 copies of something in your sideboard. So one to bring in and one to leave in your sideboard as well.
Exactly.
But,
And why take cogs out of the machine as well? Is what we were
exactly.
saying earlier.
Absolutely. Yeah. So 4 Lane on the Sanctity here may want these in some number out of the sideboard as what you can assume about your opponent's deck is they are playing the junk colors, as you saw there. So if you're not playing blue in Legacy and you're playing a fair deck like this, you're probably playing a reasonable amount of discard. You just can't get away with playing a deck like this without kind of destructive pieces.
Yeah, your Inquisitions, your Thoughtseizes,
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So tell us about Nicholas's sideboard here.
Cool.
What
So
do you see?
Niccolo on the board has 3 copies of Containment Priest, 3 copies of Talia, Guardian of Traben, a Tabernacle of Pendril Vale, a Thespian Stage, a Dark Depths, a Wasteland there, and the Maze of It, which are the lands we talked about before in the sideboard. Then he has a copy of Orzhov Pontiff and 3 copies of Gaddock Teeg.
So what do you see going in? The
Out of the
Thalias,
board
maybe?
here, the Talias are very good here. He's definitely going to be bringing in the Talias, and he's absolutely going to be bringing in the copies of Gaddock Teeg as well. So Gaddock Teeg
Gaddock Teeg,
doesn't
of course.
let your opponent play spells, non-creature spells 4 or greater.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of spells actually that Adam will be able to play. So for example, the Show and Tell is a spell he can actually play through the Gaddock Teeg. However, the Dream Halls is one which he can't, and even if he does combo off using Show and Tell, he can't play the Enter the Infinite. He can't play the
You can't play the Emrakul then he leaves the Emrakul. He leaves the Emrakul on the top anyway for the Ants combo.
Yes, but he can't play the Enter the Infinite go and draw his whole deck. So for sure that he'll bring in the Gaddock Teegs here. I think just 3 Gaddock Teegs, 3 copies of Talia.
And what's he taking out to do this? The swords.
Taking out to do this. The Swords of Plowshares are awful. They're all coming out. If he has any of them in his deck, they're all out.
Yeah.
He has 3 copies there. 3 Abrupt Decays are pretty poor as well. They're probably going to be coming out. And then any number of... You may want to take out, like, for example, a Wasteland. A Wasteland kind of fills a spell role in a lot of circumstances, so he's playing against a deck that's going to have mostly basic lands. They do rely on the City of Traders and the Ancient Tomb as well to get out a little bit faster.
I'm not even sure we've got an Ancient Tomb in here.
We probably have
No,
Ancient.
we don't. We got 8 islands. We got 3 City of Traders, 2 Flooded Strands, and 4 Polluted Deltas.
Okay. Well. Okay, so he values his life total then, fair enough. So yeah, like Wasteland is one of them spells. You see it in the Delver decks a lot. They sideboard out Wasteland, where it literally doesn't cast anything in their deck. They just have it as a spell. It's a land that's a spell. It's kind of like a free spell in a sense. So
Exactly.
they may side that out against a deck like this. So
We saw that earlier with Susan playing against Susan using her Delver Threshold deck against I believe it was Cully's Miracles deck.
Yep.
And she had the option. Cully played the Seat of the Synod, and she had the option of both Destructive Revelry and Wasteland for it. And then of course she was essentially using Wasteland then as a spell. Will made the point of using the Destructive Revelry
on the land,
on the land, and then keeping, because Cully was down to 1 land anyway. So and then keeping the Wasteland if he gets another. So,
absolutely. Funny thing to point out here as well, which I'm sure Nicola has been running through his mind in the last few minutes. You see 3 copies of Containment Priest in the sideboard, and this card is actually usually very good against Show and Tell decks, because we see a kind of 50-50 split of the Sneak and Show, which is the Show and Tell put out a creature card, and then we see the mono blue one, which is Show and Tell put out an enchantment and go kind of a sorcery route, as we see here. So the Containment Priests are very good in one of the matchups because they get to put the thing back, and in the other matchup it does nothing. So he'll probably be kicking himself a little bit that it's no good here.
That's that is one of the things about about Adam Alex's deck is it's not your typical like Sneak and Show. This is a funky...
It's Show and Tell. It's mono blue Show. It's kind of, like I said, it's a 50-50 thing. People tend to play, both versions. So
okay.
This is the other version.
Does one be more popular than the other at all, or?
Well, they go through various stages of popularity. So the Sneak and Show deck has much more non-basics, so it loses to Wasteland more. So if the format is full of Wastelands, it's a little bit more of a liability. You play like a lot of Ancient Tombs, and you also play your Volcanic Islands and stuff in that deck. So it's a little bit more explosive, but it doesn't play as many counter spells, and it doesn't play as many cantrips as well.
Yeah,
so
it's not as safe per se. So here we go. Both players looking at their hands. Niccolo is on the play, obviously, after losing game 1.
Let's have a look here at the hand of Adam Alex. We see a Gitaxian Probe, a Preordain, I think a Force of Will. A Misdirection is in there as well. 2 lands, and
I think that's a Sneak and Show as well. Or not Sneak.
Show and Tell.
Show and Tell. Sorry.
It could be a Show and Tell. Okay, well.
So,
this is really interesting. Turn 1 crop rotation. So you have to sacrifice that land as a additional cost to cast. So that gets sacrificed, and now he's got a Force of Will here.
Force of Will.
Removing a Pact of Negation. Okay.
Yeah, so they're both 2 for 2 cards there. You know,
Yeah.
getting rid of the early Force of Will can be pretty
Getting
handy.
rid of their land drop.
Yeah,
Just take out their land drop.
Yeah, that's true. And Juktaxian Probe.
Yeah, pay 2
he's paying
life.
2 life.
Got a 17 here from Adam.
Yeah. So what do we see? We see Knife of Rankery, we see Thoughtseize, we see Thespian Stage, and we see
Caracas.
Caracas. I love that the artwork in that Caracas.
So do I. I
It's
love
beautiful.
it. I hate the foil one. I love the old one.
Yeah,
I hate the foil one.
The foil one, I'm not a fan of either.
No, but it's a really nice
So
artwork.
there we go, the draw from, and here we go with Preordain. And he sees
more counters.
Preordain and I think that's a Ponder.
It was a Ponder, yeah. He drew the Ponder and left the Preordain on
Yeah.
top.
So he'll be very happy here.
Yeah,
And
he's just gonna.
Yeah, pass the turn, and here we go. There's the Krakus pass.
Again, this is another card that's really good against the Sneak and Show deck and not very good at
Yeah.
all in this matchup.
So here we go with the Ponder. One, there's Emrakul, Pluto Delta, Brainstorm.
So if he's a fetch here to go, he's just gonna
He's
shuffle
just
up
gonna
here.
shuffle.
Brainstorm, of course, very good when you have a hand full of stuff that you don't want, and then you want to put some stuff back and draw some better cards. But he already has a couple cantrips in hand here. I think he wants to just move through his deck a little bit and clear the rest of that stuff off the top. Like the Emrakul and the other land are no good here anyway, so that's
Yeah.
more stuff he'd just have to Brainstorm back on top anyway. So, you know, Brainstorm not in a great spot here. He's just going to shuffle up and get a free kind of shuffle that way.
Yeah, I think that was another that's an
Omniscience that
Omniscience.
he
Yeah,
drew there.
yeah.
So show, yeah, he just needs a show and tell or something now. Needs a way to get that Omniscience into play.
To get his machine going. Like, so he will be doing a lot of dig here.
Yeah, that's the advantage of this deck as well. It plays more cantrips. It kind of
Yeah.
just sits here. It plays cantrips and counter spells, and just kind of does a lot of this kind of dirtling around. Like I said, it's less explosive. You kind of spend more time just doing this for a few turns, but it doesn't lose to Wasteland nearly as bad.
Yeah,
or at
we've-
all almost.
We've actually seen quite a lot of that. Is the one game that we did see him lose? It was, of course, a turn 2 Chalice of the Void for
On
one.
yeah,
which
that's
just
incredible against this deck.
Yeah, it really just destroyed him.
Yeah.
So
We saw a dig through
That
time,
was a dig
and, the
through
show,
time, yeah.
and the show and tell is the other card on top of his deck. So
Oh,
this
cool.
is a nice preordain here.
Yeah.
Getting to keep both.
and how many cards does he have in his graveyard? Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we go. Thoughtseize. This is going to get. Oh no, Force of Will. The
remove the
Thoughtseize.
misdirection, I think, or is that maybe a Dream Halls?
I'm
not
think
sure.
I think it's a Dream Halls.
Nice thing about the Dream Halls in this deck as well, it is actually castable. It's difficult to cast it, but you can get there. Absolutely, you can get there, and then you cast it, and off you go as well. So
Here we go. So drawn out for the turn.
it's the show and tell we knew
Yeah.
there from before. So he's gonna probably just play a land and show and tell here, I think.
Yeah, he knows that he's in the money here, so he's
Yeah.
got the Omniscience.
Yeah. So he puts the Omniscience in, and then he can cast the Dig Through Time for free then.
Yeah.
Look at the top 7
And what are we
and
seeing?
go from there.
What are we seeing from Niccolo? Knight of the
Knight of the
Rankery again.
Rankery, yeah.
It's didn't quite. This line of play didn't work out last time, and there's the dig through time. So 1, 2.
So
Brainstorm,
Brainstorm,
Show and
Show and
Tell.
Tell, some lands.
Or 5
Oh, wow.
lands. Brainstorm, Show. and Tell.
Yeah, so take the 2 spells because
Yeah.
everything else is free, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he'll be a bit disappointed with that. Like
Just go Brainstorm now.
He also won't really want to shuffle his library.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Oh, there's the
Enter
Enter the Infinite. Yeah,
Yeah.
he got there. Enter the
And
Infinite.
away he goes. I believe he just wins the game.
Pick up his deck, put the Emrakul back on top, and then do exactly what he did the first time.
Yeah.
And this is what you see when you play a mid-range deck like this. That Niccolo, excuse me, is playing. When you don't play blue,
Yeah.
you just kind of go. You pass the turn. You go.
Yeah.
If you can kill me, kill me. You know, you don't really have many ways to interact
to-
here. You don't
yeah.
have Force of Will, Spell Pierce, Counter Spell, whatever like that.
It really is showing that like the power blue in Legacy is just
It's-
almost 90% of decks. You know, it's,
You
it's
just
so
like
powerful.
you need a very streamlined and a very good reason to want to play a deck without blue, especially if you're playing a mid-range deck
Yeah.
like this. In my eyes, like a lot of these decks, really nice. I really like his deck and Niccolo's deck. It's really sweet. It's a
Yeah.
lot of really cool things going on. It's actually probably excellent in mid-range mirrors. So I was able to beat him earlier, but like I said, it was close, and it
Yeah.
was just one misplay from him. I won game 1. I would have lost it had he done something differently.
Yeah.
So you know,
it's just death to combo.
Yeah,
like and there's
exactly, yeah.
there's so many efficient combo decks in Legacy, and of course you do have things that you've got the preordains, you've got Ponder, which is just an incredible card for filtering out what you need from.
Absolutely. And in the same vein as well, the Ponder and all those cards that the combo decks have access to, what happens is you rely heavily on Thoughtseize and kind of Hymn to Torek style cards and stuff, and you sorry, what's it?
Yeah, we're gonna get Joe Cullinan and Mark Casey up.
Okay.
Because all the other matches are kind of in middle of the
Alrighty,
Okay.
Joe Cullinan and Mark Casey.
Yeah.
So sorry, yeah, you.
Mark Casey doesn't actually have
Yeah,
a list
he's
here.
playing Miracles against Fern.
Alrighty.
we-
Do we
we
have
have-
a thing for Joe?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it should be there.
Okay. But what was sorry?
We've
I was
actually-
saying there when you rely on Thoughtseize and other discard effects, you just lose to you take the one combo piece or something out of the opponent's hand, and then they kind of just top deck 2 Ponders or Preordains in a row, and then you just lose anyway. You just kind of lose to the top of the deck essentially. So got there.
There he is. Come on in.
Come on in.
How's
it going, guys?
Our resident diva. He's been on the stream 3 times.
I know. I'm
3 out of 5 games.
I'm a camera whore.
Yeah. You've won. Have you won every one of them?
No, I lost one. I lost to
the
Merfolk.
Lost to Merfolk. That was the Chalice of the Void.
The chalice, yeah, like it didn't matter game 1. Game 2, it mattered a bit.
Yeah.
And then game 3, I tried to go off and missed. Like,
Yes,
I
we saw-
missed on my dig. I was like, oh, there's more omniscience. No, that's not what I want to see.
We saw that, and then you Pact of Negation, obviously.
Yeah,
will
this
kill
was
you
going to
then.
kill me. Yeah.
Joe Cullinan, is this what he's playing? Elves? Oh no, that's probably
Elves is Sander.
That's Sander, yeah.
Yeah.
Tomash is playing
Yeah.
Merfolk.
Oh, so
Shiny
I get to
Lands,
play second in the top 4 now.
Bevan.
That's not too bad.
I hear 8 card starting hands for combos pretty good.
Which?
8 card starting hands for combo seems like a good thing, right?
8 cards?
Yeah. I go second, so.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
8 cards
Oh
starting
yeah,
hand.
yeah. That's pretty. That's pretty all right. I mean,
So we just don't have a deck list here for this.
Yeah, we
stuff.
don't have one for Mark Casey as well, but he has been on stream twice before, so this is his 3rd time on the stream.
Okay, so we've no deck list. We'll have to just wing it a little bit here, but you know,
Just like always, I'll leave you
we're
guys
we're
alone.
professionals. Let's just try to figure this out. I've been playing this deck for a while, so I should have at least some idea what's going on. with the
Will was
Miracles
actually commenting on this earlier.
Yeah.
You move from the Miracles to your back to your Stone
deck. Back
Blade.
to my Stone Blade.
Will
yeah.
got very excited about that as well.
Did he? Yeah, a
very
little bit overexcited, I'd say.
Yeah,
Did he?
yeah, a bit too much. Like, what's your reasoning?
Well, basically, I am going to play in GP Lille in about, I think it's like a month and a half or something like that. So I have decided that everyone and their mother is playing with Miracles at the moment because it's probably the best deck in Legacy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good decks in Legacy. It's hard to pinpoint something. Like, it really is a kind of a cyclical format where, certain decks are kind of the quote-unquote best deck.
Yeah.
But I think the most consistent deck and the thing that has game against kind of the vast majority of other top tier decks is probably just Miracles. It has a bit of everything.
It's more about you're kind of playing the percentages.
Yeah.
When you're playing Miracles, it's like there's nothing this is that weak to.
Yeah, like it has bad matchups. Every deck does, but Miracles
Yeah.
just has game against most stuff. So for that reason, people just pick up the deck. Like, it does a lot of winning, for
Yeah.
example. And in the hands of a professional player or the hands of a very good player, the likes of Paolo Vida, Domodorosa, and Rejuke and stuff, Joe Lissette, there's a lot of kind of high profile named players who win a lot of tournaments with this deck. And people just go, all right, I want to play this. Like me, I looked at them like, this deck is awesome, I want to play it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the experience with this deck, as I don't, and unfortunately I'm not the fastest player in the world, as you probably know yourself, so it is very difficult to win on time with a deck like this. You have to play, extremely fast, and you have to play with pristine accuracy as well. You can't make mistakes. Like with your top, a lot of sequencing things are very difficult to make, and I just don't play the deck well enough. I'm perfectly willing to admit that, and I just don't want to go and play this mirror all day long because I'll either draw or lose.
Yeah, you want to play something you're a bit more comfortable
Absolutely,
with, and
yeah.
set yourself in familiar territory. What
For
we're
sure.
seeing is Mark. He seems to be cursed whenever he plays on the stream here today.
Mulligans.
This is probably his 5th or 6th time mulliganing while on
Having
stream.
one of those days, is he?
Yeah, so I do feel sorry for him. I'm going to have a look. I don't think he can. No, he's very far away from getting into the top 4. He's down in 17th.
Okay.
So that's pretty unfortunate for him.
Yeah, the guy said they were just going to get them on stream. It was the only
only game available.
matchup that was people
so
weren't playing. So
If we didn't have Mark on the stream, maybe he would have done a lot better because he's oh, he's been having the bad mulligans, bad draws, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, which is.
I wonder is Joe the player I played earlier on Mono Red? I apologize, I can't forget it. I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah,
though I
he's-
played. Is he the
he's-
player playing Mono Red?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
on the Burn game. He
Yeah.
actually managed to draw a game as well. against,
Apparently he
Cully.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I played against him earlier. Nice guy. So yeah, interesting to see him on a red here. I actually, not a deck I enjoy. I certainly wouldn't enjoy playing it.
Yeah.
I don't like the deck per se, but I always enjoy playing in matchups against it. I like playing against the deck because they're really interesting. They're so tense games.
Yeah.
Like from the very word go, you're just on the edge of your seat trying to be careful about what's going on. What's happening here? Oh,
Cards are upside down. Obviously.
so I would call this a Walshy. He has Walshy this deck.
What?
Well, you may not have heard this term before because
Yeah,
it's the name
go
of
for
a friend of ours.
Oh, right.
David Walsh we used to play with, and his decks were just perpetually half upside down,
down,
and it
yeah.
literally drove me mad.
Yeah, I was a devil for it when I started playing Magic
Were
as
you?
well.
Oh,
We
God.
didn't care. Just cards were upside down.
If I
and,
put my
yeah.
deck like this with cards upside down, I would wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. I would have to get out of bed and put the cards the right way
A very
around.
meticulous man is Dan here with this set. We were commenting on your shuffling earlier. It was,
Were you?
Yeah, it was above average. Yeah, pretty
Okay,
good.
pretty good,
Not
not great.
not great though. Like oh, sorry about that, guys.
This
But
is
yeah,
a mulligan
so
to 1 or something at this stage. Like
It's a
I think he's
mulligan
going
again.
to 5 at this point,
oh dear.
which is not good.
Yeah, you can see him laughing about it, going, "This damn camera."
Honestly, though, this matchup is all about specials. You can
Yeah.
mulligan to 5 in this matchup and win.
So he's got land, Snapcaster, Force of Will, 2 land, Snapcaster, Force
Terminus,
of
I
Will,
believe.
and Terminus.
That's nonsense as well.
Really, he's gone to 4.
yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
And this-
going to 4 is very bad, but it is a matchup where you can win on a multi 4. Like
Really?
like I said, the matchup against Mono Red, it's about specific cards. So usually you're not going to have enough time to cast all of your cards anyway.
Okay.
You can't sit around and just ponder and brainstorm.
Yeah.
Buy yourself a bit of time, mess around a little bit, because you're just going to lose. They just cast 7 spells and you die. So
Yeah.
in this matchup, the cards he's really after is the counterbalance.
Sorry, we're seeing the hand here. So
Lava Spike, Eidolon
Lava
the Great
Spike,
Rebel,
Eidolon.
Lightning Bolt, Mountain, Wooded Foothills, and 2 cards I think hidden behind there.
Yeah,
Bloodstained Mire and another Lava Spike. Okay, so look at
Pretty
that hand there. It's 3 1-drops and a 2-drop. If he
Yeah.
had a counterbalance and a what do you call them? The Sensei's Divining Top,
Yes.
he just locks him out of the game. You know,
Yeah.
so like turn 1 top, turn 2 counterbalance actually brings him right back into this game. Now
Okay,
it's
so that's certainly
it's
true.
kind of the nut draw on 4, but it kind of just
Yeah,
goes to
yeah.
show you can actually win this matchup on a multi, say 5 or 6, no problem. Like
That's-
you easily throw back kind of playable 7s. You know,
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
lands, a couple spells are kind of just nonsense against this deck.
So yeah, that was.
He actually literally drew 2 lands on the top.
Yeah.
Counterbalance.
So
I can't believe that what I'm
that's-
actually seeing here.
Yeah, I was about to ask you before that. You know, what's he looking for in this tour? And there is our resident Uncle Creepy.
Yeah. This is. Did you see?
Evan.
Look over his shoulder here. Did
Yeah.
you see what he just drew? Like you need to keep that
Yeah.
close, man, just in case they hear us, because they're close enough by. Like,
Yeah, so
But
this
this is rather incredible. I
This
can't
is
believe-
nuts. This is how did he like?
he couldn't have picked 4 cards out of
Yeah.
his deck better than this. Well, actually, no. I tell you, like he could have picked 2 islands as opposed to those 2 fetch lands.
Yeah, as not to take the damage.
Quite literally the
Yeah.
perfect opening hand he's drawn. here.
Unbelievable.
I am really, really interested and excited about this match of Magic
Yeah,
we're about
and
to
I-
watch, because this is seriously, this is a multi-4
And
that can
that's
win.
the thing. I'm sure Joe is like, he's on 4
Yeah.
cards. I've got this.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not too sure if he'll see this coming. So yeah, he starts out with a lava spike.
Now he is going to get in for 6 or 9 points before,
Yeah, but it's-
before Mark is able to.
It's all going to be moot though, and like by the time it's by like the time Mark's set up with his counterbalance on top, you know.
So what's going to happen here is he's going to play. He went to turn 1 Lava Spike, which is 3. Then he's going to be able to go turn 2 Lava Spike Lightning Bolt, which is a total of 9
9.
plus 2 fetches, which is 11 damage.
Yeah.
So then he needs to be able to find. Another 9 points of damage, which aren't 1-drops, and it's very doable. I mean, he's still in a commanding
Yeah.
position here, the mono red player Joe. But
Is there?
in saying that,
He's got the Eidolon of Great Revel.
he does in hand, yeah,
you
which
know,
will cause
he-
problems for sure.
Yeah, he can end up beating him with that, but you know, Terminus is a thing.
Yeah,
So-
like if he plays the Eidolon here as opposed to the 2 1-drops, it's actually going to
That's-
buy Mark more
yeah.
time. And it looks like that is what he's going to do here.
Yeah.
So he plays the Eidolon, Mark plays the counterbalance and takes 2, and then he's going to be taking 2 a turn, but he shuts off 2 to 3 spells in Joe's hand already that we know about. So, you know, It's a race. It's a race to find either Terminus or Source of Plowshares for Mark, and if he finds that, he's in a pretty good spot here.
Yeah, but he couldn't have, as you were saying, he couldn't have asked for a better better 4. You know,
When your opponent keeps 7,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got a 4. You know, you'll take anything that gives you even a decent shot,
Yeah.
and he definitely has a decent shot here.
he's actually, is that 2 counterbalance?
Yeah, he drew the second
oh my
counterbalance,
God,
which was a bad draw. He didn't want to draw that, but again,
Yeah.
you can't ask for much more.
Oh, so he isn't going with the
Okay.
Eidolon, the Great Raffle route. So he will be going this this route that gets him up to 11 damage in total, which will be the Lava Spike Bolt. Well, he's passing the turn, but like, there's no reason not to. So here we go with another.
Yeah, he's
Flooded
going to stretch
Strand.
and go straight for the counterbalance. And this is, it's going to be tight. Like
there's the
we said,
islands.
he does need to find the swords for that. The Eidolon that's going to come down next turn, and it's a problematic card for sure.
Yeah, although he does have the top out, which can give him a lot of leeway.
So he'll go counterbalance here, and then in response, Joe is going to lightning bolt, because leaving
Yeah.
1-drops in your hand is not a great idea. So
Not with
Mark,
counterbalance,
Mark does have a blind shot at hitting a 2 to counter the Eidolon.
Yeah, there we go. Counterbalance. You can see Mark's pretty happy about getting that out. So in response, bolts.
Yeah.
So we can safely assume that Mark is on 9 life.
Yep.
So we'll be seeing the turn being passed back to Joe. What does Joe want here? Then he's seeing top and counterbalance out. What's he going to be looking for? How is he going to be trying to play through this?
Well, he's going to want to play the Eidolon for sure anyway.
Yeah, I think that's almost
if we
guaranteed.
look at here, it looks like Mark's doing a little bit of posturing here, representing Force of Will, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
He's having a think. This counterbalance is on the stack, I can only assume, unless he's actually let it resolve and he's going end of turn lightning bolt. In which case, I'm definitely putting that top back on top of my deck. There's no way I'm just taking. I'm just taking 3 here. Like, you need to do.
Yeah, so he's giving it the thumbs up,
Okay. So
and I think he's taking the damage.
yeah. I have to imagine that that's just representing Force of Will, as opposed to actually thinking about it end of turn, because there's just no way I'm taking 3 there when I can actually counter the spell.
Yeah, exactly. And
Joe's going to top 2 here. He's going to play his Eidolon. It's pretty safe. Mark
He-
is already
we-
missing 1-2 drop in his hand, the counterbalance.
we definitely know Joe's also got a 3rd land. So
Oh my god, he blind flipped it. I can't believe it. He actually hit it.
that's
Oh my
you
God.
can see by his actions there.
That's insane. That's actually that's the actual best thing that could have happened
Yeah.
for Mark there. He actually
Unbelievable.
has a shot in this game. Now, 2 counterbalance in hand is pretty bad here, but he has time to ponder and get his way out of it.
The fact that like that paid off for him in such a big
insane.
way. And there's the terminus on top. That's not really relevant at this point, considering the Eidolon got cancelled.
Yeah, this is tough.
What do you keep here, or do you just go for the shuffle?
It's really hard to say. I think I actually keep a fetch land here because he has a 2-drop now to counter any 2-drop spells. He's got the Snapcaster floating, and
Yeah.
he can just basically keep the Snapcaster and the Terminus floating and just
Yeah,
go
well,
turn to turn here.
With the fetch, you can. You're right. With the fetch, you can shuffle as well.
Yeah, so basically what he has is he's got a 2-drop for the Eidolon, and he's just going to get to counter this Eidolon again for free.
Yeah.
I think he's got it sitting straight on top. He does, counter.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
good.
he has the 6-drop for the Fire Blast, which is a 4 of in the mono red
Mm-hmm.
deck as well. So he has some really nice mana costs floating on top of his deck here, which is the best thing you can ask for in this spot. And he's just going to draw the land here and leave those others floating on top again.
Yeah,
and he's
there
in
we
a
go.
really nice spot here, actually.
Going from 4 against a burn deck.
This is insane.
Yeah,
Burn
this is
deck
very good.
on 7 lands.
Yeah, this is really good play from Mark as
Yeah.
well. You know, he hasn't panicked. You know, he went down to 4. You know, and it's it has worked out for him. He has got some lucky breaks with the counterbalance on top and
Tap
things like
2
that.
for a Flame Rift, and he's just going to counter this. And basically, what is going to have to happen here is Joe is going to have to do a little bit of shenanigans. He's going to have to mess around a little bit and try get Mark to accidentally put something on top of his library.
Yeah.
So what he'll have to do is, Mark, just take the land here and keep your 2 and 6 floating. Just doing a little bit of fiddling around, so he shows Joe's not able to follow which card is which. But
Yeah.
there's no way he's at the moment taking either of these 2 spells off the top of his library, because they counter quite a lot in the deck. And
Yeah.
he of course has the Sensei Divining Top to counter 1. So what he's going to have to do is basically throw a 1-drop under the bus, essentially. Get Mark to put the top back on top of his deck to counter
Yeah.
a 1-drop, and then force through a 2-drop, something like that.
So here we go. so he's playing the Eidolon, and there's the Snapcaster again. So
Mark is not
counters.
drawing that Snapcaster Mage, mate. He's
Yeah,
already
yeah.
countered like 3 of your 2 drops.
Exactly. And there's nothing in his, Snapcaster or Ponder.
Yeah.
Yeah, not ideal. So yeah, there's the top
Spin
1, 2,
and
3.
then just draw the Force of Will.
Du-du-du-du-du.
Definitely drawing
Yeah,
the Force of Will.
and he's going to be drawing the Force of Will, and Snapcaster just sitting
Yeah.
right on top.
Now I'm going to start animating. This is fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you want to get this game over. You don't want to sit around all day and let him find his way out of the lock. But this is a really nice spot here for Mark.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it must be so frustrating as the Burn player as well.
For sure. He
Yeah.
he drew the actual perfects on 4. Like we said it. He needs 2 lands, a top, and a counterbalance, and he's in this game.
There
And it's
he
the
goes.
exact 4 he drew.
Yeah.
Which is just unbelievable. I really wish it was Ev who this happened to. I would never hear the end of it. It would have been so hilarious.
Really?
Oh,
He
if
was-
this happened to Ev when he drew that 4 on the thing, Ev would just be crying and moaning. It would be so funny.
Write an essay about it.
Yeah, on his blog,
suppose.
as Eamon was talking about tonight or today. There, he should start a blog, a hilarious blog about Dear Diary today.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
opponent mulled to 4 and got the perfects.
Yeah, dear diary, I'm sick of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sick of Twin Exarch.
Yeah.
You know? Again, I really love this. Just fiddling around. He's just
Yeah.
leaving the Snapcaster on top.
This is really nice. He can draw the top here,
Yeah.
and he can play a top. So he gets to play out a second top, and basically he gets to have a 1 that he can put on top
Yeah.
to counter any 1-drops, and he can keep a Sensei Divine top on the battlefield. So now he can counter any 1, 2, and 6, and that's basically every single spell in the opponent's deck. I actually don't think there's
unbelievable.
anything. Oh no,
Yeah.
there is. There's 3 drops. So the one
What
card
three-
that can
what
get
three
him out
drops
of
would be
this
in Joe's?
would be the Sulfuric Viewer Vortex, which is devastating right now. We don't know the life totals here, unfortunately. We haven't been keeping track of them, but I
Yeah.
still think Sulfuric Vortex is going to be enough if you drew it this turn and played it, and it didn't get Force of Will, of course, which it will.
Yeah.
But Sulfuric Vortex is the one card that could get him out
Is
of
it,
this.
is it safe to say that this game is?
Yeah, this is over.
Yeah.
This is absolutely over. I would have played the top there if I was Mark. I would have just put the top on the battlefield so I can counter any 1, 2, or 6.
Yeah.
Because, as I mentioned, being able to... So he's going to have to put a top on top of his deck now. He's going to have to spin
Yeah.
that... Or not spin the top, activate it and put it on top. And that opens the way for a 2-drop.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he has something in hand that can take care of this. So he's going to look first. Unless he has a 1 there. He does. He just
Yeah,
has
he's
Brainstorm.
got
So he's
Brainstorm on
fine.
top, so yeah,
he
again.
got lucky.
Okay, counterbalance, brainstorm. Sorry, mate. And then, okay, so he is going to play his Eidolon of the Great Revel now.
No, that's a...
Or sorry,
that looks
is
like a
it?
Smash to Smithereens. Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah,
Smash
yeah,
to
sorry,
Smithereens.
sorry.
He can just spin.
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to spin the top and put it on top instead. Oh, this is in response. Sorry. I thought he revealed the 1 to counter the
same.
counterbalance. Maybe Joe said, oh, hang on a second, with the trigger still on the stack, I want to do this.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Which is...
Again, just the lockout.
Yeah.
There's another top.
Yeah.
Animate an attack. Yeah.
Yeah,
when
there's
do you
nothing
when
Joe
do you
can
when
do
do you
here.
give up as Joe?
Yeah.
It must be so frustrating. You're putting down these spells and they're just getting deleted from your hand in,
A little
in the
bit,
most
yeah.
in the most obnoxious way as well. It's like, no, I've still got and then even in the last turn when you tried to be a bit clever, tried to do a bit more, no, I'm still counterbalance is still on top, is still just completely wrecking you.
And I think that's what Joe needed to be a little bit craftier here earlier on in the game. So I believe he's a newer player to Legacy, so he probably wouldn't be kind of too aware of the ins and outs of some of the decks. Maybe he hasn't played against this counterbalance lock before.
Legacy can be a very frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. Like, what you really need to do in a situation like this is, if they have the countered lock, like when he played the first 2 and he saw it was countered by the Snapcaster Mage's stop, he needed to stop playing 2-drops. He basically needed to get to build up a hand where he had, say, a Lightning Bolt, a 2-drop, maybe a Fire Blast, maybe something like that. He needed to build up a multitude of different mana costs where he could play, say, 3 spells in one turn and force something through.
Exactly.
So if he had
ask more questions.
yeah, absolutely. Like, barred the Manland, which Mark found eventually, but didn't have for quite a while. If Joe had forced through one of those Eidolons, he probably could have won this game, because Mark has not found a source of plowshares in all the time he's been here. He's found counters and stuff like that. So if he had gone, forced the 1-drop, make him put the top back on top when it's on top, then play my 2-drop, he might have been able to get out of this. But that's
it is,
maybe a little bit of inexperience as well.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. Like, especially if you're new to Legacy and you're coming up against what are you would normally consider from your standard and modern players just completely unfair decks. Seeing this kind of shenanigans with the counterbalance and the tops and all this kind of going on. It must be like really quite disheartening. At the same time, though, you must be going, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
you know,
Oh, like I'm watching this when I see like Reed Duke or something play this, and I was
Yeah.
watching this like drooling, like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to do that. It looks so good. What am I doing messing around with Force of Will? I'm just going to counter the stuff for free
Yeah.
with my top on the battlefield. I'm play any cards.
unbelievable. Top is definitely any good Magic player loves Sensei's Divining Top.
It's an insane card.
Yeah, it's so useful.
It's
Like,
the card that makes the whole deck tick. It's so good that when they go turn 1, play a land, play the top, you just Force a Will. You Force
Yeah.
Will almost always. Like, depending on the makeup of your hand, sometimes you can have a think about it, but usually you don't even think about it. You just go Force a Will that way.
So in the mirror miracles match, mirror miracles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top would be probably the best card.
It's the best card in the matchup for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's the best card in the deck. Without
Sorry,
this card,
we do have a Goblin Guide.
oh wow.
Yeah, we do have a Goblin Guide. So
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's just revealing the Terminus. So he's at a high enough life total that he feels like he can allow that to resolve.
Mm-hmm.
And this is again why I feel like he should have played out that top from his hand, because
Yeah.
he could have gone play the top, activate that top, put it on top, counter the 1-drop, and it can still counter any 2-drop. You don't have a spot to force a 2-drop too.
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
should I say? So.
must be very, very, very frustrating for Joe at this point.
Yeah.
You know, just sitting there going, I had a Goblin Guide down once.
Yeah. Another
Yeah.
price of progress here. Countered with a Snapcaster Mage. This is about the 9th 2-drop that he's played into
Yeah.
this counterbalance lock, and not one of them has resolved.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's going to spin the top, and then he's just going to fill around more, and yeah, it's the same guy. This one Snapcaster Mage doing a whole ton of work.
Yeah.
Not even in the game, just sitting on top of the deck. So he has actually drawn that, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it, that's a good game. I think, would that be 2-0 to Mark? Considering he had engineered explosives in his...
It was after board anyway. I'm not sure
Yeah.
which. I am guessing it's 2-0. They had the handshake, which is probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was unbelievable. Yeah,
you-
absolutely
yeah,
astonishing. Multi-4,
come-
we're literally sitting in here going, he's on a multi-4. You
Yeah.
know? And I literally said, this is actually a matchup where you can win on a multi-4 against mono red. It doesn't matter how many cards you have, you need exact specific pieces. And the top and the counterbalance are the 2 cards you need. I said it, if he has 2 lands, top counterbalance, he has a chance in this game. Draws the exact 4 card, and wow.
So, Evan, how have you been doing today?
I'm 4-1 now.
You
You're
won,
4-1,
did
so
you?
you're
Into
more
the
than
top
likely
4,
in the top
probably.
4, yeah.
It's probably going to be myself, yourself, Tomash, and Adam, I would say. Adam won his last round as well. So.
Do you have any words for your potential opponent, Mr. Dan Gilligan here?
Is
Any,
it gonna be-
What you gotta do?
gonna cut a promo on him? Huh?
I'd like to play, to be honest.
We can play, but like
Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. Let's have a think about it when the top 4 goes up.
40, 45 each ish.
If we just split them all each way,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, maybe so.
But yeah, it would be you, Dan,
really.
Dan, Thomas. It'd be the 3 of you and Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. We need to go find him and see.
Yeah, we'll wait. He's gone for food, so we'll wait till the parents go up and we'll have a think about it.
Who did you beat in the last round then?
I was going
Is the
to
stream off?
Pardon?
No, stream's on.
We're having a very odd conversation over stream now.
Well, yeah.
Who were you against?
I was against Susan. Playing,
Susan.
uh,
Oh, the threshold,
yeah,
Delver
Threshold,
Threshold, yeah.
it's pretty good.
Yeah,
With
it's we saw it earlier and it was amazing. Will was saying about that deck though, about the threshold, that it walks a very fine line. You know,
A very fine line, yes.
Yeah,
If
it's
doesn't do what
either
it wants to do, it has a hard problem
Yeah.
recovering states
Yeah.
and all that kind of thing. If it's against a mirror matchup, for example, and their plan happens faster than your plan, you're almost out of the game immediately. If
Yeah.
they manage to stifle a land and wasteland a land, that could be you out of the game.
Or if you just, you get your timing wrong on you fetch and play a creature as opposed to keeping up your spell pierce or, something like that. Like, if you get behind in the game, it's so hard to come back. Like, it's a control deck that can't actually control the game if it gets behind in that sense, But in saying that, when it plays like a turn 1 Delver and goes turn 2 Wasteland Stifle, it looks like the most unbeatable thing in the world.
Yeah,
It's-
we actually did see that earlier, like
Yeah.
and it was just oh god, this
yeah.
this
How
deck
do you
looks
what can you do
absolutely
against
horrible to
this?
play.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed there. We did have a lot of the same players playing on stream today. We didn't get to see the Lands deck, which I was really looking forward to.
Yeah, the Lands deck is cool.
Death and Taxes. Bevan, I think, is running
Yeah.
a form of Death and Taxes.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see Elves or the Hypergenesis deck.
Yeah, it's a pity.
unfortunately.
Yeah, it kind of falls that way a little bit sometimes, where you just go, you know, if you pick, say, the first 2 rounds, if you pick people on to put on stream who end up going on to kind of
Yeah,
win
yeah.
a lot of rounds, you end up having them on later as well, and you
Yeah.
kind of have the same stuff.
Or
so.
just Adam Alex demanding himself to be
Oh,
on
well,
stream.
I don't
know, I'm only joking with him. Yeah, it's just he's been on stream so much today.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just the just being the eternal player force.
I was like that the last time. I think it was the last time we were playing here, because I was always like last playing the game 3s in each round. It was just like, are you still playing? Yeah. You going to game 3? Do you want to jump on? Sure.
Yeah. So tell us, George Graham's Arsenal in the 90s.
Yeah.
Similarities between you,
Well, yeah, this is something-
boring Dan
Yeah.
and boring Arsenal.
Yeah. Tony Adams.
Martin Keown.
Yeah.
Lads.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was asking Will about this earlier. If you could play, money's not an issue. You can play any deck in Legacy. What do you play?
In Legacy, there's no real expensive decks in Legacy per se, in terms of, if I play
Yeah.
Esper Deathblade, for example. I've already committed to Force of Wills and
Yeah.
Wastelands, Fetches, Duels. I have most of that stuff anyway, so you're not getting too much more expensive than that. Now, if I could
Yeah.
sell out my deck and buy a different deck, that's a different thing. But I'm pretty happy with my deck that I have now. There's a lot of decks I'd like to play. For example, Lands, I think, is a slick deck. I
Yeah.
love Lands. They're one of my favorite card types in the game. So the Lands deck is really cool. I'd like to play that. Other than that, I love the Elves deck. I think the Elves deck is really cool as well. But I just don't like playing any Magic decks in any format where I just have these matchups where they go turn 1, do something, and I look at my hand and go, well, here's this 30-70 matchup where I just can't win the game.
Yeah,
I just don't
yeah.
I don't like having matchups like that. And
You
Elves,
don't like
for
being
example.
out of control.
Yeah, absolutely.
You,
I just
you
like to play
you like to
control
have
decks.
you like to have a say in everything that happens on the board. And even if you don't have like a card in hand that can deal with it, you like to be able to imposition onto the opponent that you could.
Absolutely,
You know, you like to
beside that point as well, I like to have something in my deck where I can
Yeah.
solve it. I don't like when the opponent does something and I just go, ugh,
Yeah.
I can't beat that card in game 2, and it does happen. I mean, every deck has
It's
opponents where
yeah.
they sometimes just do it. Like Blood Moon is a nightmare for my deck. There's a mono red deck that runs around, which is you play Painter Servant, so it's the Painter,
Yes, the paint.
and it's like a kind of a mono red deck that plays a lot of those Ancient Tombs of City of Traders and forces
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Blood Moon out. It plays like 4 main deck Blood Moon and like 3 Mages of the Moon. It plays like 7 or 8 Blood Moons in the main deck. That's just
Insane.
unwinnable for me. I can't win that matchup.
So this is the end of round 5 now, which is why our stream is currently empty and devoid of players. Don't worry, there hasn't been a fire and everyone's been forced to leave.
Yeah.
But so we could be going into the top 4. We're not entirely sure yet.
Yeah.
Will is out there somewhere having a nose around and things.
Yeah, I'd say we won't be getting anyone else on stream now. This is probably going to be finish up this last round here. There may be a couple of matches still playing the last 5 or 10 minutes, and then the standings will be going up for top 4, and we will probably be playing more Magic. I know Adam stuck his head in there and proposed a bit of a prize split in the top team, but I'm here for testing, to be perfectly honest. I probably won't take a prize split. It's nice to get the few extra quid and all that, but it's.
Yeah.
I'm testing for a GP where I may not get much time to test between now and then, so I want to play my deck. And the Mono
that's
Blue
fair.
Show deck
That's
is
fair.
a deck I want to play against for testing. Ev is playing Delver, which I didn't play against today, which I'd like to test against. And Thomas is playing Murfolk, so they're 3 different matchups, and I could potentially play 1 to 2 times against whatever.
Yeah,
So
the Murfolk deck when we looked at it earlier was really cool.
yeah, it's
Like,
a cool deck. It actually
yeah.
was as well the best deck in the format, I believe. Before I started playing, probably not too long before I started into Legacy, which was a couple of years ago. I believe, I've been told it was the top tier deck. It was the best deck in the format.
Murfolk, okay.
Which I can understand it, like it really has all the makings of a really cool deck. You
Yeah,
get to play this kind of fast clock. So you get to play this kind of... first of all, most decks in the format play blue. So you've got all these unblockable creatures just to start off with, which is really nice because of your Lords give Island Walk. So you've got a whole load of guys who synergize really well. You play out all these guys to pump each other and you just attack for loads, and then you get to play like Force of Wills and Days and stuff.
Yeah,
and you keep your opponent on the back foot. You do a little bit like the Rug Delver does. You go play out a little bit of an early clock here and keep you on the back foot, keep you in the early game as much as possible, and just kill you just before you get time to stabilize.
Do you think it's a benefit of Legacy, the fact that blue is just so overwhelmingly better?
Not really, no. I don't think it's a good thing about the format as such. It's the one thing that people complain about a lot. People who don't really like the format will kind of point to that. They'd say, why don't you like the format? First thing they say, oh, because everyone plays Brainstorm, it's kind of boring. And
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I can understand that. That's a reasonable argument when probably 70% of the decks
Yeah.
in a room in any Legacy tournament are playing either Blue and or Brainstorm.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, that's not ever really a good thing as such. But in saying that, there's a lot of variety in the blue decks alone. I mean, there's so many different blue decks
Yeah,
that
we
do a lot of different
We
things.
even saw Adam Alex's deck, very good example. The fact that like it's show and tell,
Yeah.
and then you know within that archetype you've got sneak and show as well.
Yeah.
You know, and as we were saying, some cards are just dead against the against his particular brew of the show and tell.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like archetypes within the archetypes.
Yeah,
is
but
kinda
you've even
what
got
you're
then
at.
you've got like Storm. You've got a lot of different blue combo decks
Yeah.
because those cantrips are just so good. So you've got.
Start the top four.
Well, yeah, sure. Okay, I'm gonna jump out now because
All
apparently the standings / top four are
Stan,
starting.
good luck,
So
good luck.
yeah, cheers, man. I'll talk to you in a bit.
All right, take care, guys. Right, we are moving on to the top four now. It is Dan versus Adam and Ev versus Thomas. So we'll try and get Ev and Thomas onto the stream. I'm just going to say to the guys now. Ev and Thomas in the stream.
Yeah, that's
40.
We all went to school, don't worry.
44 euro. Yeah, it's 44. Sorry guys, we're just setting up. We will literally just be 1 minute. I'm going to get Will in here now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Will Tolan, back to cast. We have Ev on the left, who is playing a red, white, blue Stoneforge Delver. Tomas is playing a Merfolk, the Chalice of the Void Merfolk. So this is actually going to be a pretty interesting match, I think. It's nice to have kind of two creature-based decks up against each other for a change. We've seen a lot of combo. So I'm looking forward to, heads clashing here. It's going to be fun. So I'm just going to dig out the guys' lists here and go through them. Here we are. So Ev is on 4 Lightning Bolt, 3 Swords to Plowshares, 3 Spell Pierce, 4 Delvers, 4 Ponders, 4 Brainstorms, 4 Stoneforge Mystics, 4 Days, 3 True Name Nemesis, 1 Dig Through Time, 1 Batter Skull, 1 Umezawa's Jeet, and 4 Force of Will. And then Tomas is on, let's see, 4 Chalice, 4 Force of Will, 4 Days, 4 Phantasmal Image, 4 Curse Catcher, 4 Silver Guild Adept, 2 Marrow Regery, 1 Sig. Cool, Sig is a River Cutthroat, so he lets you draw cards whenever the opponent has taken 3 damage this turn, or lost 3 life this turn. Then he's got 4 Lords of Atlantis, 4 Master of the Pearl Trident, and 4 True Name Nemesis. So, I'm not sure who... Oh, I think Tomas is on the play here as he finished first in the standings. I think going first here, I'm not sure how important it's going to be. If Tomas has a Chalice of Void in his opening hand, then going to turn first is really important. But other than that, Ev has a lot of 1-mana answers to Tomas's creatures. Like he's got 4 bolts and 3 Swords to Plowshares. So players just shuffling up, cutting each other's decks, and here come the first 7 cards. So top 4 is underway. Probably see mulligans now. I'll have to eat my words. So we see Wasteland. There's a lot of land in Ev's hand. He won't like that. He does have a Ponder and a Force. Honestly, it's not a great hand, but might be a keep. No, Ev is not keeping. Tomas has Days, Force of Will, a couple of threats, a couple of lands. One is a Mutavault. So Tomas is going to keep this. Ev is going back for 6. So I just quickly went through the deck list there. Both, it's kind of a creature matchup. So Andrew's back, by the way.
Brilliant. A
it's-
creature match.
Yeah,
Finally.
Exactly. That's my thoughts exactly. You know.
Good old fashioned magic.
Yeah.
Creatures hitting against creatures, and, you know, none of this enter the infinite omniscience, which we've seen so much of today.
Attack of the Ants.
Thanks, Adam.
The other matchup is the mono blue Ants deck versus Miracles. So
No, it's a.
it's
against,
Esper Stoneblade.
Esper
Esper Stoneblade. I keep thinking
I
Dan's
hate
on
to sound a
Miracles.
bit biased, but I really, really, really want to see versus Dan in the final
That
on
would
the
be
stream.
great.
Yeah, they're two great rivals. They have hated each other for many, many years now. Ev was in here earlier. Just Dan was trying to commentate in the stream, and Ev was just putting him off. He was, doing jazz hands, giving him a little kick. Just so he knows all the tricks. So anyway, we do see the
That's a Curse Catcher.
Curse Catcher.
Yeah, so he counters instants and sorcery spells unless they pay 1. You have to sacrifice him to do it.
Oh, there's
So
two of them.
yeah.
So I suppose sacrificing them won't be a problem. We also see a Mutavault out. The Mutavault, of course, being extremely good in Merfolk.
Yeah. So Ev is just considering his end of turn Swords to Plowshares. He opts not to do it, maybe hoping to catch the Mutavault at least.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure the Curse Catcher will try to protect the Mutavault.
So he's got Volcanic Island in hand, so there is a second land.
Yeah,
Paying
he's
2.
just going for it. Stoneforge.
Stoneforge.
So we're seeing a daze here.
I really like that play with the days. Just keep the pressure on the
We
board.
saw Ev kind of touch off his Volcanic Island there, maybe trying to create an illusion that he has his own days.
Yeah.
So we're
A
going to see a lot of
a
damage.
lot of posturing in Legacy as well.
Yeah, this is 4 damage coming straight across.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So untap and draw. It's an island.
Ev keeps drawing these islands. I think it's time to waste that Mutavault.
Yeah, it's time to kill the Mutavault. So he's going to Stoneforge again.
Yeah, so he's keeping the Wasteland
Do
up
we-
until after he casts the
Yeah,
Stoneforge,
of
so he can
course,
pay
of
for the
course.
days.
So do we see anything coming
Yeah,
out here?
if Tomas has another days, I'd almost be inclined
Force
to do
of Will.
Force is
This
better.
is the card I was looking for. Force and pitching the days. Okay. So I like this actually from Thomas. He wants to keep the pressure on the table. Nothing for free here. So we are going to, of course, see the Wasteland being used.
So
on
in the
Mutavault
upkeep,
start.
yeah.
In the upkeep. Good. That's a good move. And of course, draw, play. It's an island. This is good. Are we going to see a Lord? Oh no, we're not.
No
so we're
Lord,
going to
so-
see an attack for 2, and then
Silvergill Adept.
Silvergill Adept coming out.
And he showed another Merfolk, so he has to draw a card. That's how the Silvergill
So
works. Dig through time for Ev.
Flooded Strand.
He's only 1 mana off actually casting the Dig through time.
Yeah, he'll be pretty happy to cast the dig through time as well on his next turn. Like, very awkward position. If a Lord comes down now, all of a sudden the damage just goes up and up. The clock becomes not a 3 or 4 turn clock, but a 1-2 turn clock.
Yeah.
No Lord as of yet though. And
So
we see a
Swords to
Swords to Plowshares
So
on the Silvergill.
Only 2 damage here for coming across at Ev.
Yeah. It's not bad. So 3 mana, and that is the True Name Nemesis.
True name Nemesis.
Naming Evan.
Yeah. So Lightning
So-
Bolt the draw for Ev.
What's the bulk good for here? Is the bulk good just to kill off any Lord that comes in or that kind of
That's
thing?
pretty much it.
Yeah. Although he does have to dig through time at the end of this turn,
Yeah.
so he'll
I think he can do both. Yeah, so he
Yeah,
can
so
bolt
he's
one of the
gonna-
Curse Catchers.
Bolt's a Curse Catcher, and then he's going to fetch a land.
He'll
And
probably take this hit, and then he'll go for a dig. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He mightn't want. He might. Oh, there's another Mutavault coming out. That's actually really, really good, and a phantasmal image
Yeah.
of the
So
True Name.
now
this
is when you
difficult.
dig, because you literally just
Whoa.
can't deal with this.
What's he digging for?
Force of Will.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Force of Will and a blue card.
Force of Will to get rid of the phantasmal image.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if you can do it. Yeah. He's gonna be exiling all his graveyard here. Not that it really matters.
Well, it does matter because he gets to leave up 1 extra mana now.
oh yeah,
So
I suppose actually
he could have
yeah.
paid to keep a card in his library, but
1 mana and Legacy is very important.
exactly, it might be a brainstorm finding that next force. There's force and there's blue
Yeah,
card.
so he's got force and a blue.
Lets him play around days as well.
Yeah. What do you take here as well as
It
the
it
force?
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I
just
suppose actually you're exiling it anyway.
yeah. I mean, you're
What would
probably-
you prefer to
Spell
keep
Pierce.
in your deck?
No, I'd exile Spell Pierce. I'd keep the Delver in my deck, I think, and hope.
Okay. I suppose he does need some way of winning.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely taking the force. And Spell Pierce, yeah, and he's casting it on the Phantasmal image.
Yeah.
So I think Thomas is down to 0 cards. Okay, untap and
I just
he
couldn't
just
do anything
didn't,
about it. Couldn't
didn't
do
have
anything about it.
didn't have the required damage then to win against the Mutavaults as well as the creatures on the
So,
table.
do you want to have a quick look at Evan's sideboard there? Call out what
Yeah,
you think
sure.
might be good against the fish.
Okay, Evan has 1 Swords of Plowshares, which is very
Mm-hmm.
good against the fish. 2 Containment Priest.
Yeah. So, Containment Priest is one of these newer cards that
From
when he comes
Conspiracy, I
in,
believe.
is it? It could be. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you might be right. So when he comes in, he stops creatures coming into play except from no. You have to cast a creature, is it? I'm actually going to check this.
Yeah. Then he's got 2 Meddling Mage, 2 Pyroblast, 2 Flutterstorm, 2 Wear and Tear, 1 Aethersworn Canonist, 1 Grafdigger's Cage.